Whiskey Thoughts is intended for a mature audience and is not for those easily offended. If this content hurts your feelings, please share it with your friends for moral support.
What's up, everybody? It is episode 2 of Whiskey Thoughts. I'm sitting here with my man, John Getz, and my other man, James Roberts.
What's up, people?
We were about to throw down. Yeah, man, I am excited to get you on here. We've been talking about this for a long time.
Dude.
So I came up from North Carolina, South Carolina, South Carolina, all the way up here. Today we're going to talk about some good shit. Today we're going to get into money. We're going to get into economics, what the hell's going on in the world around us, why. We're going to talk about your 501c3.
Yeah, brother.
We're going to talk about all the charity work that you do, which is all going to be good shit. So,
yeah, man.
The rules of the house.
Let's hear it.
Whiskey Thoughts.
House rules.
Yes. Whiskey Thoughts. What are we drinking today? John, grab that bottle.
All right.
My man James brought that over here today. James, tell us a little bit about what you brought.
Hey, man. So I was out looking for a specific bourbon or whiskey, and then I just kept coming across this name, Hudson, which we'll talk about later. But so it's a New York distillery, and Bright Lights Big Bourbon sounds like Cody. So I was like, all right, New York Big Lights Big Bourbon. It talks about a caramel and vanilla finish. So you know what? I was like, let's just pop this bottle.
Done. All right, so here we go. Let's prop that open. But the theme of the show, you already know it, but we're going to go over for everybody that watches.
Yeah.
So Whiskey Thoughts. What we do here is we crack open a bottle of whiskey every show. And really what we do is, one, we try to drink a different bottle of whiskey every time. But we have the whiskey, and then we have unadulterated thoughts. We say whatever the fuck is on our mind, however we want to say it. And, we talk about things that maybe a lot of people don't want to talk about. Like today, when we're talking about financial planning and economics and the financial world, we want to talk about the things that a lot of people don't want to say. Things that a lot of people that are listening, maybe financial planners don't want them to know. That's the stuff that we want on the show.
Yes,
and so,
sir.
We get raw and dirty and we throw down. So with that, gentlemen, cheers.
Cheers.
To Whiskey Thoughts.
Here's a good show. Here we go.
Whiskey Thoughts.
It's the best thoughts.
So here's a whiskey thought. Tell me, in your opinion, I know this is generic, big picture kind of shit. What the hell's going on in our economy right now?
I mean, look,
you got 30 seconds to
hey, we're on the same chair right now, trying to figure this out together. But here's what I will say: I don't think it's a shock. I mean, I think we've gone since 2009 with a couple like hiccups here and there, but like very V-shaped, like quick dip, quick recovery.
Yep.
And now we're in, either a pullback or a recession. We don't know yet.
Yep.
But I mean, here's what I've been telling people. For 5 years, I think it was like, it was kind of like, boom, hit that dartboard. And dude, if you just got in the right sector,
it was good.
You took off.
Yeah, it was good.
And so I think what we got right now is you can't just get the sector right. I think you got to get the company right.
Yeah.
And so I think it's just a lot more, and you're going to hear the word way too much today, but a lot more intentional about what you're doing with your investments.
I like that word though.
And so with the economy, I mean, look, man, we got a lot of different things that hit at the same time, some of them you could foresee and some you couldn't, but it's this perfect storm that kind of came to us here. And here we are.
So numbers are about to come out for second quarter, right? So we were a negative 1.5, I think, GDP.
Yeah.
So again, if you don't know, if you have the definition of a recession economically is when you have 2 consecutive quarters that are showing negative GDP. Mm-hmm. So now everybody's kind of talking about all the people that were saying, oh no, we're fine. This is not anything we need to worry about. This is transitory.
Yelling.
Fucking stupid word. Transitory inflation. I mean, I understand what it means from an economic standpoint, but it's just fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Like, what are we transitioning into? A fucked up period?
Yeah.
Like we're going from good shit to bad shit. And in the middle, we're going to call it transitory.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, anyway, I understand.
It sounds better.
I guess
it
so,
just makes
right?
it digestible for everybody.
Swallow this.
Swallow
this dick.
Yeah. As you're sliding down the hill.
Yeah.
You're transitioning to the bottom.
Yeah.
Transitioning. I feel like that's a common theme these days
man.
too.
Let's
like,
not go there.
Yeah. So
again,
I need another whiskey.
Yeah, I need another bottle.
We killed that bottle the last show. Two knuckleheads killed a bottle last show.
All right, well, we got a lot to live up to then.
But I mean, I watched that show back a number of times. I don't remember slurring. I don't remember even talking funny. I messed up when I said Memorial Day, a little funny.
But you called yourself out on it.
I did.
Yeah.
I did.
So that was easy.
All right. So from an economic standpoint, you think that we're going to hit negative GDP next quarter?
I think there's a good chance. I mean, I think, look, you got supply chain issues, you got rising interest rates, which are working against each other at the same exact time. Yep. So I don't see how earnings are going to be better. We've had a tech boom for the last 7-8 years that they were borrowing it next to nothing, and now they're borrowing it a lot.
Yeah. FinTech is not doing well. Where
all technology.
Yeah, all tech is doing terrible.
But
FinTech specifically is kind of taking a
But here's what I think. Here's what I love. And this is, if I'm talking to somebody like specifically, I'm saying after I know more about them, like look at this is the arbitrage opportunity. Yeah. When all this, when entire sectors are either going up or down together, that's the opportunity. You got to go find the company that's being lumped in with tech, who's gotten beat up down 30-40% right now. But it's a great company, great fundamentals, great leadership. Nothing has changed.
They're going to come out on the other side.
And they're going to come out on the other side, and they're going to bounce probably. Yeah. So right now, the conversation in our world is like, is it value or growth? Where are you going to be on the recovery? Yeah. Now, growth stock is somebody who's reinvesting in the company. Value company is somebody who's like giving back through dividends and distributions to the investor.
I understand.
Right. So everybody's saying value right now. And I'm thinking, I think that's a good call because with rising interest rates, you're thinking dividend stocks should do well. So I'm thinking value good there. But then again, if you can find that company, that arbitrage opportunity, I think they bounce better than the value does right now. And here's the other thing. Here's the other part that's like crazy. So, and most of our clients, 45% of my book right now is under the age of 45 years old, which is crazy because 5 years ago, my book was like 7 years old.
So, all right, bookmark that because I want to come back to that later.
Cool.
Right. Because one of the things I'm going to talk about is like, how do you get into the market when you're 30 years old? Right.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't taught that. My dad, my mom, they didn't teach me how to use a credit card. They didn't teach me how to balance a checkbook. They didn't teach me how to invest or save. And I don't think that that's being even done now. I think it's actually probably worse, right?
It probably is.
Yeah. So it's like if you're young, how do you get into the stock market? How do you start investing and doing that? So bookmark that. No, I definitely want to come back to that later. So,
but where I was going with that is like, so usually where do you go when you're nervous about the stock market?
In a dark closet and cry,
or the bond market,
or a bottle of whiskey.
Yeah. But like you go to bonds, you go to fixed income, you go somewhere where it's safe.
And that's not.
Well, how can you go? How can you? So if we can talk about bonds for just 2 seconds, because I'll give you a quick bond school. If rates go up, the price goes down. So if you're going into a bond fund, which is a portfolio of bonds that an active manager is choosing, and they got bonds that are maturing they bought them 15, 20 years ago.
Yep.
They're maturing, and then now they're trying to reinvest. They reinvest at 3% over the next 7-8 years. You got 3% bond. Well, if bonds are at, or if interest rates are at 5%, 6% when they mature,
you're losing.
Yeah, you lost value.
Yeah, you lost.
So now you got bonds and stocks. So bonds and stocks used to have a negative correlation, but now they move together. Now if stocks are down 30, bonds are down 5.
Yeah, it's very disjointed, right? You used to be able to actually track that because the inversion aspect of it, right? So mortgages, I do mortgages, and so. The bonds that he was talking about, mortgage-backed securities,
100%.
That is, and that's why everybody's seeing in the housing market right now. Everybody's asking me, why aren't rates going down? I'm like, well, because the equities markets are completely disjointed.
Yeah,
and there's no tie, there's no traditional tie anymore. They're done,
dude.
It's done.
It's a new world. That's what 100%. I'm saying. Like you had interest rates from 1980. Remember this? Yeah. I mean, so I was born 1980, but 87, 88 was the savings and loans crisis, right? Like where you had 16% interest, right? But your mortgage was like 12%, right? And so they've been coming down this entire time. So it enabled you to go into bonds and make money. Well, guess where they're going to go for the next 40 years?
There's no safe haven.
But they can't. I mean, I'm not even going to guarantee they're going up, but they can't go back. They can't go down.
No, there's nothing.
So what are you going to do?
Everybody keeps asking me that. Like, what are rates going to do? And so I was the guy that 6 months ago, I was telling everybody, I was like, listen, rates are going to be in the 5s. There's not a chance that they're not going to be. And I was called crazy. Like literally people that were like, you're nuts. And I was like, no, I'm telling you, like The data's there.
Yeah.
And everything that if you understand economics, right? But then you understand what we just talked about, how it's completely broken, disjointed.
Yeah.
Like you can actually see exactly what's going to happen. My prediction right now, we're in a little small pullback from a rate standpoint.
Right.
I mean, what you're talking, 0.25%.
Right.
So it's the traditional stock market thing,
Yeah.
right? So when you're looking at, stocks, if they keep going up, you're going to have dips, but the overall trend is up. So we're in that small downward trend right now. I see rates hitting 7 by the end of the year.
Well, look, the Fed said 10 rate hikes, right? So
there's 6. I think they said 6, but then they were talking
50
about
basis point hike. So you call it 10, baked in.
The equivalency.
Exactly.
Of
So if that's true, and the bond market's already priced that in, so don't go running out there thinking this is brand new information. You're gonna find arbitrage.
No.
And I'm sure the mortgage market's the same thing. It's already priced in.
Baked in.
But
no, they don't. They haven't baked it. I mean, so they run maybe 60 days out, right? Because they don't know if they price themselves out of the market, they lose, right?
Okay.
Because now it's a market of competition,
right.
So if one bank goes, oh, okay, I'm going to bank this in, because I think that they're going to go 50 basis points 6 times over, right? But they're wrong,
right?
And now their interest rates are a half point higher than the rest of the market.
That's true.
They're done, right?
So that's a difference in the market.
They're done, right? So it's the free market that everybody's kind of saying, okay, well, where are you at? Where are you at? Where are you going to be? Is that where you are? Like, I'm not even kidding. That's what these people do.
No, I 100%.
They call each other and we come out with rates at like 11 o'clock every morning. Why 11?
Yeah.
Because the market doesn't open till 11?
Right.
No. Because we're waiting to see what is everyone else doing. And this is where we're coming out.
Yeah, man.
It's that simple.
100%.
Yeah, man. I don't know. I really just, it's crazy to think that we've gotten to a point where I feel like we've lost control. Like, I feel like we used to have a really good thumb on the markets, right? And even go back to like Alan Greenspan, right?
Yeah.
He wasn't like the greatest guy ever when it came to his policies, but what I loved about him and what I think the markets loved about him is how ambiguous the guy was.
Yeah.
Like, he never said anything.
Yeah.
He never committed to anything. He was not like they do today, which is the complete opposite of him. Like, he would be like, well, we may do this and we may do that, but
the markets might do this, right?
Sure, and we don't know. Like, everything was ambiguous. So like, he would speak.
You can never be wrong.
Right.
He was never wrong, but the markets were like, what the fuck did we do with that?
Yeah.
And so they just kind of like, okay. And they just coasted.
Well, they looked for data elsewhere.
And then you would have like outliers who'd be like, I think this is what he was saying. Like, but that was brilliant.
Yeah.
Because like, when the markets respond to the breath of these people, like anything, right?
Yeah.
And it's knee jerk. I'm going to turn the wheel of the car.
That's the news cycle, man.
Right? That's
24/7 news cycle.
100%. So,
absolutely.
From a market standpoint, and you go back to this whole thing with, and I want to get your opinion on this because I try to ask this of everybody. So when you're trying to combat inflation, right? There's a lot of policies that you can, even I were talking about this recently. Like, you have to, if you're going to increase rates to fight inflation, the number one thing that you have to do, it is Econ 101. You have to restrict the supply of money, right? Because the inflation is the devaluation of the dollar.
Yeah, that's where you hear monetary tightening. Yeah,
100%. So
we had quantitative easing for everybody knows that term now.
Everybody knows.
And now we have quantitative tightening.
So are you familiar with the statistic that we have printed 40% of all US dollars ever put into circulation in the last 18 months?
I've not heard that, but that's not shocking.
I mean, but think about that.
Look, listen,
40%.
The coronavirus response was intended to be swift and impactful, and maybe you could argue it was, but if you're looking backwards, it hurt. Yeah, it hurt the workforce. It hurt the entitlement of the workforce. It completely shifted dynamics.
Sure. Yeah.
So I mean, that's why I'm not surprised by the number because we just threw trillions.
But why? So why? I guess my question. So I guess my statement, not my question, even though it is a question. So why do they continue to do it? Why do they continue to print money? I mean, we were going to throw $41 billion at Ukraine that no one knew, and the only reason we didn't, I don't know if y'all heard this, Rand Paul Rand Paul stopped it, right? Because everybody's like, hey, Ukraine, let's send them money, let's help them, poor people in Ukraine. So we were like, yeah, send them $41 billion. Dude stopped this by simply asking a very basic question. Can I read essentially what's in this spending package?
Yeah.
And can I tell the American people where the money is actually going to go?
Right.
And McConnell and Schumer, McConnell's a Republican, so fuck him too.
Yeah.
Okay. It's like,
it's not political, is it? Yeah.
They were about to send $41 billion to Ukraine. And as soon as somebody asked a question about where that money was going to go and be spent, it was.
Well, this is why I always say, like, so people look at the United States government as this big, huge organization.
Yeah, man.
But this is like people making decisions.
Yeah.
People.
This is not
this huge organization.
So that's
people.
But why? Like, if they understand these things, right? And you would figure that Janet Yellen.
Politics, man.
We're not going to get into that today. I promised you. We're not going to, we're dancing on it, but we're not getting into it.
I'm with it.
We're dancing on it.
And there's all these silos, right? So
100%.
That's in its own silo.
So
absolutely. It's not interacting with the
rest
of the people that are doing the work.
People don't see it as silo decisions. They think it's this huge,
everybody came together and
great entity.
No,
that's led by amazingly, people. And I'm like, it's led by voters, like vote seeking people.
Yeah. Well,
so
I laugh, and I was talking about this today. It's like the way that this country was set up has been completely destroyed, right? I mean, these are public servants. They work for us. We pay them, and somehow they continue to just do these things that are, I can tell you that the vast majority of that money that was going to go to Ukraine wasn't going to help Ukrainian people.
Every bill, you know where it's going, and then you read the fine print, and that's where it's going.
Yeah.
Every bill.
Yeah. Wouldn't you love it if they were literally required before they could vote on anything to publicly in the chamber read the bill?
Hey, look, here's what I always say. In my business, in your business too, right? That. How regulated are we? I mean, I have to basically tell you, if you invest your money with me, you'll probably lose it. I don't know what I'm talking about. I have no clue about economics or investments. My CFP, my undergrad degree, none of it mattered. I don't know what I'm doing. So you're gambling. Yeah. Here's what I love.
I'm educated.
I have to say, we in this industry have to say that prior performance, right? Past performance is not indicative of future results. That's a disclosure line that everybody in my industry knows. How dumb is that?
Isn't that the...
How are you telling me that past results isn't in... I'm not saying that past results will guarantee future results.
What metrics are you using?
Is it not indicative?
Yeah. But that's the whole reason. Like, I mean, look at these people when you go and... If I'm investing money, right? Well, how have you done in the past 10 years, 15, 20 years? Because, that's going to tell me...
Mr. Kessler? It's not indicative of future results. You can lose money. You will lose money, but give me your money and let me invest it. And then you got these guys in politics that can go give a bill for billions of dollars with no disclosure.
Nothing. I don't know, man.
I got to disclose everything. I got to tell you what I wore yesterday.
Brother, I could literally, we could break into this for a long conversation. But I don't want to get.
But going back though, so taking this full circle on that conversation, you asked about where we're going. So I liken this, and I've said this many times. If you go back to 0809 during the financial crisis, right? I was I was new in this business. I got in 07. So great timing on my part. Like, just getting the business right before the whole industry tanks. But I'm here, a lot years later. So I guess I made it. But I was lobbying even then, like, let the free market be free. Don't go rescue these. If you made bad business decisions, Layman, if you made bad AIG, why are we bailing them out?
Why are we bailing you out?
That's the natural market. You're supposed to fail and let another company with better management come in, pick it up the pieces, and go.
Right. Apparently, your past performance doesn't mean anything.
Doesn't mean anything. No. And here we are, very similar situation. But let's not look back at 2011. Let's not look back at 2008 for guidance. I'm
gonna tell the story. Not that it fits really with what we're talking about right now, but it popped in my head, so I'm gonna get it out.
Did somebody refilm me?
That was me.
Good call.
It's magic.
Bro, I didn't even see this.
There's a little midget.
Little person
to say that. There's a little person. You don't see him.
Vertically challenged.
He just runs around and pours shit. So I saw this video today. It was the CEO of General Motors, and they were bringing back the Chevy Volt, right? And so all the news is there, press conference. They're outside of the office, and the little Chevy Volt is in the parking lot, and it's plugged in, right? And the woman, the CEO, is like going around and she's doing what she does. And, you thought we killed the electric car, but we didn't. It's alive and well. Like, I mean, it was so stupid and cheesy, right? And so this one, I want to give this guy a hug. I really do. So like he goes up to her, cameras are on. He goes, this is great. Everything's awesome. So I have a question. Like it's charging right now. Where's the power coming from? She goes, it's actually coming from the building. He goes, oh yeah, that's cool. So it's coming from the building, but what's the power source? Yeah. The mixture of power that's supplying the power to the building. Do you know that? She goes, oh, well, that's coming from Lansing. The city powers that. He goes, no, I understand that.
Let's keep digging.
Do you know the power mixture that's coming from the grid, from the city, that's powering your building, that's charging your electric vehicle? She goes, I think they run off of coal. I think they're super into like natural gas, right? And then it cuts to the guy who runs the power grid. And the guy goes, so can you tell me where the power source is and what the mixture is? And he goes, currently we run about 95% on coal. And it click.
Different colors.
Yeah. Dude, it was amazing. It was the best thing I've seen.
That is awesome.
But it's like I said, has nothing really to do with what I'm saying.
No, it's hilarious though.
But it was one of those stories that popped in my head. And
it reminds me of that Tesla that runs out of power alongside the road. The guy with the diesel shows up with a generator.
Generator.
And he's powering it up.
Yeah.
And then they drive away. You're like,
now I will say though, so if you're an investor and you're looking 3 to 5 years out, like that's this type of stuff we're looking for though. Like leave politics out of it. Yeah. If you're going to give an infrastructure bill with billions of dollars towards EV, right? Where are you looking to invest right now?
Yeah.
If we're looking at like Albemarle and we're looking at LIT, which is a lithium battery ETF.
Yeah, I was gonna say, where's lithium at right now?
Yeah, I mean, dude, are you kidding me? Lithium's taking over on the EV market. So
even scientifically, we're moving towards rare earth.
Yeah,
and developing stuff there too. So that's a huge market.
You got to expand on that because there's probably a lot of people that have no fucking clue what you're talking
about.
Yeah,
it's all battery. I mean, it's all stuff that goes into battery technology to make it better.
Okay,
so bigger charge, bigger power. Synthetic biology is looking at like making solutions to create a better battery.
So in an intentional LLC commercial, we're going to be talking to John about our lithium battery.
John looks like he has like cauliflower ears and will bite your nose off, but he's actually a big nerd. He's one of the smartest guys I know. He's a biologist. And all these other crazy things, but he's like understands this shit.
So that's like why I have people like you to like. Make me understand the market. And like,
no, but look, what were we talking about earlier?
I thought you were going to say that's why I have dumb people like you.
No. I'm about to make a really shitty investment, and I need you guys.
No, before we had the cameras on, we were talking about Miracle of Hudson, which we can get to in a second. But we were talking about how like doctors and specialists, although their intentions are so pure and so good, this guy's saying one thing and this girl's saying another thing, and they're not necessarily jiving. Like they could be going against each other. This is the same thing that most people need to understand in the investment world. Like you cannot go to one person. If you go to James Roberts and I tell you I'm the smartest man here and I have every single answer, dude, don't hire me. Yeah. Like I gotta be talking to the Johns of the world. That's what I have to find the people that understand their world on such a level.
Exactly.
My only job is to find your knowledge and apply it to my investments. That's it.
Yeah. I mean, it's applying the theory of diversified portfolios, right?
So here's where I differ, though. I got younger clientele.
When I say that, I like generically put it into like the three of us have to talk to get like one good answer.
Yes, that's
any one thing.
If that's diversification, I agree with it.
Yeah, that's my assessment of diversification.
Anything. I mean, I genuinely like. I mean, I know a lot about a lot of shit, but I mean, there's. I call you all the time and be like, dude, what do you think of this? What do you think of that? And like, there's guys that you want to confer with.
100%.
And so it's the people that I always want to be surrounded with, right? Like I like to surround myself with smart people that know what they're talking about, but don't have an ego big enough to think that they know everything, right? They're like, hey, I don't know the answer to that question.
Hey, look, when you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room.
You're in the wrong room.
Sean Springs, if you're in this town, you know who Sean Springs is, a good friend of ours. So Sean told me that his dad, Ron Springs, who played for the Cowboys, will forgive Sean on that.
Blue.
But Sean always told me that his dad told him always. Now, Sean, everything Sean's just a football player. Sean's an engineer grad from Ohio State. Like he is a very smart guy and a great business guy. Sean told me the exact same quote you told me. His dad told him that forever, man. Sean, you need to, if you're not hiring the smart people smarter than you, you're in the wrong business, bro. That's what he's done with WinPact. I mean, he's done a great job.
That's insane. The technology is nuts. The what it's going to do for the NFL.
Shoot, when you're driving your car around town right now, you don't even know, but WinPact's in your headrest on the.
Serious?
Oh yeah,
damn, he's got
Sean's all over. I mean, they're. I don't know if they have the contract. Sean can tell us, but they were working on stuff to put in military boots for IEDs. Impact collision technology to protect our soldiers.
Dude, I just met a guy the other day. Well, I didn't meet him. He's on my kids' lacrosse team, but he stepped on a toe popper and like just boom. I mean, he didn't get him real bad. And when I say real bad, it said it took his foot clean off. A toe popper is not like a huge explosive. It's got enough to take your foot off.
Right.
But, it's like the surgeries and all that other shit, the complications of it and then putting the nerves and
that's exactly it. It's like there's nothing you're going to do to prevent that injury from happening, right?
No.
Unless you detect and avoid, like living in medical intelligence and seeing all that stuff forever.
Yeah.
But it's setting you up for a successful future surgery.
Yep.
So you add protection systems and probably what the technology he's looking at.
Sean, you owe me, bro.
Yeah.
We just put 5% of his entire podcast.
Sean, brother, sponsorship chief.
I'll see you at the tournament on Monday, bro.
Next time that flag says WinPact. It's no longer the American flag.
I'm going to try out some gear. So,
right? Exactly. No shit.
Yeah.
No shit. Yeah. You could actually do a lot of shit, like a lot of testing,
or get it to the people that do. Right.
Yeah. Exactly. Either way, we need to introduce them. 100%.
Come to the tournament on Monday.
Yeah,
Sean be there.
You don't play golf though, do you?
You don't have to.
I drive the golf cart.
He drinks bourbon.
He drinks.
No. I like to drink bourbon and I like to drive the golf cart real fast.
Well, then what are you doing on Monday?
Yeah,
actually, I'll be flying to Minnesota.
Well, that sounds like a terrible time.
You're still a good person, bro.
Both the actual flying there and when you get there sounds like a terrible time.
Text me.
Yeah. Well, at least you get to go to the mall. I went to the mall there.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Actually, I was there randomly.
I've never been.
When Prince, like I landed on Tuesday after Prince died.
Really?
Dude, that place was on
was
fire.
Purple.
It was purple everywhere. We're like, man, they partied hard that week. And so I'm in the middle of
it was
Minnesota.
1999.
Yeah.
What else do they have?
Yeah. It was freezing cold, by the way.
They had a 5'4".
And if you've never been there, you can get from like
with heels.
You can get from like Southwest DC to Northwest DC without being outside in Minnesota. Every building is connected to a tunnel.
Are you serious?
It's so cold there in the wintertime that you have to. Yeah, neither did I. So when you're there,
I knew it was cold there.
I had no idea. You never are outside. Like you literally walk city blocks without going outside. It's insane.
That's cool.
Yeah. All right, so let's get back to the finance.
Yeah, this is boring.
Yeah, it's a terrible conversation. People, they're gone.
Purple rain.
And they're back.
I think one of our midgets is about the same size as Prince. He's just running around pouring drinks. Speaking of pouring drinks.
Yeah, thanks.
All right, so answer me this, man. Because you and I have been talking for a long time about a lot of dumb shit. If you could give somebody dirt, right? Like I could give a lot of dirt on the mortgage industry. Like I can tell you the behind the scenes shit that people do. And I'll give you an example because I've told everybody right now, like banks are charging points now on everything.
Yep.
The reason why is because they're afraid of a market pullback, just like there was in 2020. If rates go down,
so the price
everybody refis, right?
Yep.
And so what most people don't understand is that when a loan pays off in 6 months, 12 months, right? 6 months, it's a solid 100%. Up to 12 months, there's like a ratio, so to speak. Like
charge. Yeah.
Anyway, so like if that loan pays off, Fannie Mae comes back and says, "Give us the money that we paid you for."
Push that back across the table.
100%. It's 100% out to 6
charge
months.
back. Yeah.
So let's just say that a mortgage bank makes $10,000 on a loan, but they pay out $8,000 commissions, salaries, payroll tax, benefits, whatever it is, right? That walks out the door. But Fannie Mae says, I don't care about any of that because you can't get any of that back, but you're going to give me my $10,000 back.
Correct.
So that loan that was profit $2,000, right?
Right.
Just turned into an $8,000 loss on the books. That was rampant in 2020, right? When rates started dropping, it just, their balance sheets went to shit. It was the first margin call since 2008 on banks.
No kidding.
And it put a lot of people out of business because, the company that I was working for at the time had to write a check for like $42 million for a margin call.
Ouch.
And
man, that night sucked.
There's not a lot
not sleep well that night.
There's not a lot of companies that have $42 million in cash.
Just holding it. Yeah.
Just like
waiting for a $42 million write-off.
Yeah.
Check.
Well, I knew it was coming. So.
Good. Man. I was gonna do a cocaine and hooker party, but
there goes that.
Yeah. Or
we could just write a check.
Really gonna do this.
So anyway, so it's like, so they're petrified, absolutely petrified that it's gonna happen again. So what they've done is, like, when you have from a rate standpoint, each interest rate that you go up, it's called buy up, right? So there's more premium in it.
Right.
The Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, Ginnie Mae, whatever, they're gonna pay out more. Just like an insurance policy.
100%.
Doesn't matter whether it's health insurance.
Hey, put it in the viewers. All you out there that have done multi-level marketing.
Oh yeah, exactly.
It's your chargeback.
It's your charge.
Now they understand.
Now you guys all understand.
Everybody that works for Rodin and Fields now understands what I'm talking about.
Exactly. So, but they're petrified, and so, like, if what they've done is the banks, and I really do believe that they've gotten together. And they've colluded, for lack of a better term.
There's zero doubt about the collusion.
Yes. Yeah. Like, there's no way that everybody's lockstep at the same all the time, doing the same shit. Like,
no doubt.
You can figure out, but the big guys, right? When they're all doing the same shit all the time, like, they're talking.
No doubt.
Nobody wants to be the asshole, because it's like the enemy of my enemy is my friend kind of thing, right? So it's like, all right, I don't want to fuck you because we're going to be doing this thing for a long time. So if everybody flattens out, right? They go, okay, look, this is the market rate right here. And above, where if I went an eighth or a quarter, this is the normal buy up. But we're going to stretch that out so far that if you want buy up, that's normally like, a quarter interest rate hike or whatever.
Right.
Now you're going 1.5 points up, like in rate.
Yeah.
So they flatten this out. So they go, okay, this is where everybody's at. And you got to charge a point to make money. You have to charge the client 1% of the loan amount to make that money.
Yep.
Why? Because anything that the client pays, they can't claw back.
Right.
They can't take back. So they're like, all right, well, shit, if the market does go down, at least we keep that. At least we keep that.
Yeah.
And, we'll lower the premium that we're making. And it's just a play to protect themselves, insulate themselves from a drop. So that's the kind of shit that I want to hear from you right now. Like, give me that dirt, because I got to be honest. I don't understand that world, man.
Yeah, and I'd love to hear it too, because, like, I recently bought a house again and did some consultation with him, and he's like, don't do any of the point stuff. And I'm like, when it feels weird as someone who's just a consumer, right? There's got to be more to it, right? Man. So, like, tell the people. So, and I'm learning something now too. Yeah. But
anytime you crushed that one. That was a good deal.
Yeah, a good deal.
Yeah,
like, that was just really, really, really good timing and all that stuff for finally, right? But anytime someone's charging you money for something in addition to, you have to be like, whose ass am I protecting here?
Yeah.
And, like, why
who's
is
making
that
the
there?
money?
And you get these, like, nebulous answers. Like, my first loan officer, I wanted to fucking murder this guy because he's like, I'm a scientist. Like, show me the data.
Yeah.
And no one's producing any of that.
Yeah.
So, like, I want to know the dirt, like, because I know I was right.
Well, just since we're on this, I want you to answer.
No, you're good.
Like, so when we're talking about points, right?
Right.
It's simple. It's math. So if your flat market rate is this, right? And if I say, okay, you're going to pay a point here, and then you just go, okay, well, what's my rate if I don't pay a point?
Right.
Okay. So that's my flat market rate. Okay. So bought down rate, flat market rate. All you do is you take the difference, the payment reduction, and you take the cost of the buy down, right? So in this case, let's just take a $500,000 loan amount. If 1 point is 1%, that's $5,000. Well, if I'm reducing the payment by $100 a month for that $5,000,
where's my break even?
Well, that's 50 months, right?
Right.
Okay, so pretty simple. If I'm staying in the house or the loan longer than 50 months,
exactly,
well, then it makes sense to pay the point. if I'm not staying in the house longer than 50 months, don't pay the point.
Right.
So there's no dog in the fight. And so that's the shitty people that are in my industry. They sell you, and there's no sell. It's a very simple mathematical. This is what it is. But
so that's a perfect example. But the point of that is a lot of people in your industry are just in it to make the money. They're lazy. They do what they were told to do,
but they also don't understand our simple finance,
which is because they just do what they're told to do.
Right. Yeah.
They literally, if you want to talk about sheep, go into a sales force of any industry. There's sheep in every sales force. And then there's the people that care to understand to take a fiduciary position for their client.
That's right.
Which is a Cody Kessler in the mortgage business, right? Like
you care about the client.
You care about the client. Like that's your reputation is everything. So that's no different in our business. It's the same thing. So like, let's take my first 5 years in this business, right? And I'm not going to name any employers because they probably don't want to hear that they were the ones that trained me this way.
Yeah.
But I took a lot of people and put them into annuities. I took a lot of people
because that's what they were telling yourself
who were over the age of 60. All of them, because you should be
selling them annuities
all day long. 60. I mean, these were like people with IRAs. I would get them out of a CD and into a annuity.
Well, that's probably your target.
Well, that's a bad product.
I'm saying, but like his company's pushing that because you had a target that you had to meet.
No, you're right, 100%. I made money. I made more money off of annuity than I did off anything else.
Yeah. Personal gain for him,
exactly,
100%
for the company.
And you understand,
So
where I am today,
I should have picked up on this.
But you're right. But where I am today is a lot different than where I started, and there's a big reason for that. But when I got in this business, it wasn't for any purposeful reasons. It was to make money. I mean, literally, I cheated off my sisters in high school. I failed out of college. I mean, I have no qualms telling you that I was the most entitled, spoiled triplet brother you've ever known. So I got in this business thinking I actually was going to Vegas to visit Grindr. Yeah. I'm in the airport and I'm like, what am I going to do on this flight? I'm scared shitless.
He's going to love that we brought him up on this show.
Yeah. So I'm like, man, what am I going to do on this flight out to Arizona? And so I go in the little, magazine store or whatever it was. And so I buy this mutual fund book or investment book. And I read the whole damn thing on this airplane. Now that was the first book in my life. I mean, I'm 23 years old that I ever read from front to back. I mean, I've gone through all of high school and failed out of college by this time. And this is my first book I've ever read in my life. Front to back. So I was like, well, man, I have an interest in it. Yeah. But I got in the business to make money. So I got in there. I worked for this. It wasn't like a bad company. It's a great company, actually. Yeah. But in our business, you're taught to get GDC, gross domestic commission, not GDP. Right. So I sold annuities for a long time. Then I got into mutual funds, and I was raised on mutual funds. So mutual fund is, instead of diversification, you brought it up. You got to diversify. I was like, great, I'm gonna diversify. Yeah. So I had 17 funds for my clients. I mean, I had everything: international, emerging markets, growth, value, large, middle, small. Everything you could possibly imagine, real estate, anything you could imagine. I was like, let me just throw it in there. It was like let's just wrap it all up. And ma'am, you're diversified, right? You are diversified.
You got the stamp and the shirt.
Yes, boom, diversification.
Send him a hat and a t-shirt.
You should have kept that thing on that mic on that one. That was boom. All right, so I spent the first 5 years of my life, and if you would ask me any question at any moment during that year about your portfolio, I had very, very little intel or answers for you. Yeah. So what would I do? I wouldn't answer any phone calls. I wouldn't answer anything. I certainly wouldn't make a phone call. But before our meeting, which is once a year, I'd go to Morningstar.com and I would just type in the whole portfolio. And it would give me this great little printout. And I'd have this little box. It has 9 boxes. If you have a financial advisor, you stare at a style box. Large, medium, small, value, blend, growth. You've seen it. And I'd say, listen, we got to be balanced because you never know when it's going to turn. And if you play golf, sir, if you grip it and rip it, you're going to be out of the fairway. But if you just take a nice, easy swing, man, you're going to stay right there in the fairway. What they didn't tell you was that you're going to be in the fairway with a 3-wood on a par 4 trying to get to the green. Like, you're never going to get to the green, bro. So I spent my entire career for 7 years putting you in portfolios that I didn't even understand. I just knew that I could.
All right, honest question.
If I couldn't convince you, I'd confuse you. That was my thing.
Honest question. I want a very fucking honest answer.
Yeah, let's go.
How many planners? What do you think the percentage of people that are in this business that still operate like that? Because I know a lot of guys that make a lot of money, right? They make a lot of money doing this shit.
Yeah.
And I asked them very basic questions. They were standing around doing whatever basic shit.
Yeah.
Because you know me, like I like to fucking ask questions that fuck with
100%.
people. Like they have no idea what they're talking about.
No, you can't.
So what do you think? Because that's a scary fucking thing, right?
I'm not going to throw a number out there because I don't know the answer. I'll tell you this.
Just your ballpark. What do you think?
It's a majority.
Okay. So more than
50% probably operate that way. But the most important thing to look for if you're going to interview anybody to invest your money, is first of all, they should have some sort of certification. I'm a CFP. I think that was a very valuable. It's not about the letters, it's about the knowledge.
Yeah.
But I'm a CEXP, which nobody knows what the hell that is. Everybody on this, a lot of people know what CFP was.
Yeah.
But CEXP taught you how to like take all this knowledge, all this data you've learned and apply it to like real life. And so the other thing I think that is important is, to me, so have you ever heard the term active management?
Nope.
Have you ever heard the term?
Yes, as a program manager.
Okay, so in our world, active management is a mutual fund manager, because you got somebody in New York or Charlotte or Atlanta or somewhere, and they got 3 computer screens and they're watching 9 equities, 9 stocks or 20 stocks, whatever it is. And then you got somebody next to them and they're watching their basket of stocks, and you got someone next to them. So you're paying in a mutual fund, you're paying between 60 basis points and 120 basis points for all of those people annually to actively manage it, but you never see it because it's baked into your performance.
Yeah.
But you're paying 1.2%. So if I'm a mutual fund advisor, I'm hitting you for 1.2, but I'm putting my 100 basis points on you, no doubt, because I got to make my 1%.
Yeah.
So you're in at 220 basis points, 2.2% you're in for. Now, that's a loss. Like, you lost 2.2% before you even began the race.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, talk about, I'll start here and you start back there and you got to beat me. Like, so the way we work, so I spent my first half of my career passively managing active portfolios.
So what do you do now? That's the next question, right?
So now we actively manage passive portfolios, which means I have to stay in tune with the market, with my investments. I have to wake up at 5:30, understand what the market's doing, and at 9 o'clock, I'm 5:30. I'm checking out. Well,
what's my portfolio?
Tomorrow's gonna be a bad one. Don't text me tomorrow.
I don't want to.
What's this look like?
I had whiskey thoughts tonight.
You can have whiskey memories.
Whiskey
memories. There's an auto response.
Auto response. Yeah.
Did Whiskey Thoughts podcast?
I just have Landon answer calls after Whiskey Thoughts.
That's a good thing.
No, but listen to this. So what if I told you that you could diversify your way through a mutual fund portfolio?
Yep.
And look, let me put it another way. This is a great way to put it. So this would be some dirt. I have a portfolio. Let's just call it. I have a $50 million portfolio. And I would
Memorial Day.
Yeah. So I have this portfolio. So I want to trade $5 million out of this stock or out of this mutual fund. Now, if I sell this mutual fund and you're paying me 1% a year, right? And because you're paying me 1%, I don't charge you any transaction fees. That's the story in our business. You pay me a flat fee, and I eat all the costs. Is the story.
Okay.
Now, I know damn well that technology with the rising interest rates is going to struggle. This is me looking in the rearview mirror right now, but let's just say I knew this was going to happen, and I want to sell out of all my tech funds. And I look at the number and I'm like, ooh, wait, dude, that's going to cost me $10,000 to get my clients out of this fund.
Yeah, you're not doing it.
I'm not doing it.
You're not doing it.
But then I'm going to meet with you. I'm going to say, listen, man, you just got to stay patient. Like you cannot overreact to the market. You can't do it.
I'll
But
tell
in
you.
reality, I know
Listen to
I'm going to lose
me.
$10,000.
Listen to me. Listen to him. This is good.
But that
man.
happens. So here's where the SEC. So we're a registered investment advisory firm now. So the SEC, RIA. So you got to follow where the smart regulations go. Okay. SEC says today, and this is not FINRA. FINRA deals with all your broker dealer, your bank reps, all that. SEC.
I can tell you 2 people that are listening to this know what FINRA is.
Cool. Well, they're a self-regulatory organization. Doesn't matter. But here's the deal is. SEC, Securities and Exchange Committee, says they want us to pay transaction costs.
Okay.
Now, 10 years ago, they didn't want us to pay transaction costs. Why do they want us to now? For the exact same reason I just told you. So if you're working with an RIA, most of us are taking transaction costs. I'm sorry, we do not pay transaction costs, so we push it through to you guys. Now, if I sold that same fund that was going to cost me $10,000, it was costing my clients $25 each. It's a no-brainer I'm selling out of this fund.
Yeah.
It's going to cost you $25. And I think it's going to protect you for maybe a couple of thousand. Okay. Yeah, I'm making this happen. That's the difference between an RIA and a broker-dealer or bank rep world.
Right, so
transparency is key.
Okay. So again, break it down, simple, stupid shit, right? Why does someone want to who are RIAs? Like if I was trying to find somebody to invest my money, how would I figure out who is an RIA versus who's the main guys?
You got to ask them. You straight up have to ask them. Are you a broker dealer or RIA advisor?
So like who is a Morgan Stanley?
So that would be an IAR.
Okay.
That would be a wirehouse advisor.
Okay, wirehouse.
That's not RIA.
Because that's what most people know.
Merrill Lynch, Morgan Stanley, those are wirehouse advisors. So they get like I'm really gonna spill the beans. They're gonna get like a 40% payout on their entire book, maybe 50% if they're the top of their book.
Whiskey.
Yeah. So they have to grow aggressively because they're getting paid.
Go for it.
So little.
Pour that man some more.
Yeah, that's right.
This is information for the people.
That's just true.
People.
Look,
keep them talking.
As an RIA, here's what you have. You have a fiduciary responsibility to your client. So you have to do what's in the best interest of your client, or else you are responsible for it. As a broker dealer advisor, I have to do I forget what the prudent man rule. I have to be prudent in that if you were to question me on why I invested John in this portfolio, I could say, well, a prudent man or woman would do the same thing.
Right.
But as an RIA, I can't say that. That's not my argument. I have to say why this was, not why I thought, why it was in your best interest. So if I'm a fiduciary, that's huge liability on me.
Yeah.
I mean, you can go after my family. You can go after a lot of different things in my life to affect me.
Yeah.
So that's why most people are not RIA.
Yeah.
But now the business, I will say, is shifting RIA 100%.
A lot of this actually parallels the medical world.
Does it?
Like treatment to a patient. Like if you're doing something outside of what's FDA approved and is clinical practice guidelines and allowable, then doctor becomes responsible for that treatment, right?
Okay.
So
same thing.
To connect these conversations, right? Later on, as we're going to make the transition to your
transitory.
Yeah. Transitory.
We're back
New
yelling.
words from Whiskey Thoughts. Yeah.
No, 100%.
Yeah. In the medical field, it's exactly the same way.
100%. And that was such a good segue into Miracle Hudson.
There you go.
I mean, that was professional.
That's why I'm here.
We planned this.
That was
planned. It was planned.
That was professional.
This is the Getz Kessler
100%, man.
Magic. Just like the little people that are running around.
Yeah, refilling my drinks, which happened again.
Strangely, I'm the little person.
I keep going back to the Catoctin Affair.
Oh my!
What was that place? The Frederick, the tasting room in Frederick. All right, we'll stay away from that one right now. Lee, what's up? You know what I'm talking about. Tasting
Lee Rose.
All right, Amanda, what's up? Homemade brewery. I'm just gonna shout out to a bunch of people.
Yeah, why not?
Let's just do
Homemade brewery.
Yeah,
it's Dylan, right? Dylan and Amanda.
100%. Dylan and Amanda, who also have a beautiful wedding venue over in Hagerstown now.
They do. Their farm is nice, right?
Oh, love it, dude.
Homemade is
talking good people.
Old Kushwa.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what y'all are talking about.
Yeah. They bought the old Kushwa building.
That's right,
Kushwa went behind them.
That's right.
Yeah. Amanda, look, John's got you.
I've been there.
I love this.
They actually probably know John, to be honest with you.
I don't know. We haven't been there too much.
The circles are
they're great people.
The Frederick beer drinking circle is pretty tight.
They were with White Rabbit Gastropub for a little bit.
Yeah. Like I'm good friends with the owners.
All right. Yeah. So wait, do you know what's Shuckin' Shack?
I know the place.
Did I just butcher that name?
No, you're
called Shuckin' Shack.
Shuckin'.
That's my guy.
Shuckin' Shack. Yeah.
They just renovated.
Yeah, they're
recently.
awesome.
Yeah,
and everybody who's in Frederick has got to stop by there.
Yeah,
great. The owners are the greatest people.
Yeah, fantastic.
I love them. All right, so that's another good actually segue. Man, we're getting good at this segue thing. So
we're kind of good at this.
So cancer introduces itself to my family back in 2012. It was a shock to the system, completely unexpected because we just die of heart attacks. Is what we do, and so we kind of know that. So my brother calling me, telling me he has cancer. I'm like, destroyed because he's my older brother. Look up to him, mentor, everything like that. And I'm like, shit, man, like. Well, this is before Hudson's even a thought, right? And so I was like, shit, I got to move back to Maryland. I was living in Charlotte, North Carolina at the time. Moved back to Maryland, and you want to be transparent. I made $25,000 that entire year that I started my business in Charlotte, North Carolina. I had a connect that I thought was going to be a huge connect, and it wasn't. It was a flame out. It was a kind of a lie. But I had moved my 6-month-old son and wife out there, so I was like, I'm going to try to do the best I can do.
What you do.
And fortunately, my sister was able to tell me out when I need help. But so I moved back here. I tell every client I had, which clearly wasn't a lot, but I called all
25 G's. Like,
it was like 30 clients probably. So I emailed all of them. I was like, hey, you can fire me. All I care about is, so I made a decision that year, and it was a life-changing decision actually. So I decided that year that no matter if I made $1 million the next 12 months and my brother died, that year sucked. And every other year after,
of course. Yeah, of course.
But if he lived and I made no money that year, every other year would be good.
Yep.
And it was like a crazy shift in my mind because I was like, man, I've been chasing money for I don't even know you at that point.
No.
I've been chasing money for so long. Like I would just meet people and I had good intentions, but like, let's be real. I was trying to get you to invest money with me, and I was doing anything I could do to make that happen. So then I do this triathlon.
The money was the driver.
100%. It was like my compass at the time.
The universe.
And then
knows that stuff when you're not being honest, and then when that's the point and the purpose.
I mean, we were just talking about that.
100%.
Yeah.
So I moved back to Maryland. I do this triathlon, and I had never did a triathlon. Swam growing up. So I'm like,
if you ever see me doing a triathlon, something's wrong.
Oh my God, it was awesome.
Yeah.
So I start training. I mean, I'm riding up and down 28, 30 miles a day. I'm swimming 6 miles. Or I'm sorry. Whoa. If I swam 6 miles after I bike 30, I would be amazing shape. I swam 1 mile and ran 6 miles.
There you go.
But it was crazy because like I didn't talk to a client that entire time. Now, granted, they were in these mutual fund portfolios at the time. So if they're watching this is gonna be really awkward when I see them next. But nobody fired me. They all referred me. I mean, I spent my entire 7-year career at that point trying to get referrals.
No.
Never got one.
But when you moved, you told them the reason?
I sent an email out to everybody and told them this is what's happening. I won't answer any phone calls, emails, nothing. I gave them names of people that I trusted in the business and said, you can call them and they will take care of you and you can go to them. And
you said something that resonated right in the beginning. It's about leadership at the end of the day. And you proved yourself as a leader for people who you're managing. And you said, all right, here's what's going on in my life. And here are people that you can talk to in light of me not being there.
Right.
And that's the key.
And they didn't work for me though. I was offering them to a completely different advisor.
And that's it.
Right.
If I saw that as a consumer and I saw like the same people in your company and names and stuff like that, I'm like, okay, he's just passing it around.
Right.
But if you refer me to Cody,
right,
completely outside of your network, I'm like, this guy's legit. Yeah. So that's why you didn't lose anybody.
Honesty, integrity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ultimate ownership.
Two words that mean nothing to most people in
right.
today's world.
Right.
Honesty, integrity. Like those are not buzzwords.
No, man. But they were for me for a long time, bro. Like wow. I don't even judge people. Like
no,
I've been in every. I mean, I've been humbled by life, right? Like I've been humbled, and I love where I am right now. And I never hated who I was, and I wasn't just an asshole.
I get it.
But like I was definitely focused right here.
I've been an asshole.
So then let's fast forward.
May still be one.
Let's fast forward. No, definitely
Debatable.
not. So Hudson's born.
Depends on who you are and how much I like you.
Hudson's born in 2017, right? So like I've now become this like charitable guy.
Yeah.
And I hadn't renamed the company intentionally yet, but I had definitely shifted the currency from money to impact. So Hudson's born. We're at Shady Grove Hospital. We welcomed our other 2 boys at the same hospital. Everything's going great. We had done genetic testing. We've done everything he had to do. Everything's fine. And he's born. And as soon as you see him, as soon as I see him, I know right away. Like I know. I'm like, this is different. Like this, he just looked different.
Yeah.
So a little concern. And then, but at the same time, doctors aren't saying a whole lot at that time. So I leave, go get my in-laws to come in with my kids so they can meet their baby brother. And by the time I like say hi to my parents, all of a sudden I got like my in-laws with all the balloons, all the flowers, and my sons running outside of the waiting room to tell me I got to get to that hospital room right now. So I run into the hospital room and the flowers have been replaced with doctors. And they are all hypothesizing about what just happened.
Yeah.
And quickly, it went from celebration to mourning. I mean,
or concern, like
not even concern. Like
really,
I mean, for me personally, I was questioning why this baby made it. Like literally, my own son. I mean, and so I wasn't saying that out loud because I'm like, I would never say those words out loud.
Sure.
It wasn't until hours later till my wife says to me, like, I wish he didn't make it. And I'm like, and you would have thought I would have been like, wow, how could you say that?
Yeah.
I was like, thank you for saying that. Like, I'm thank you for the bravery to say that because I've been thinking that for the last 6 hours. I couldn't say it. Now, today, Hudson's 4 years old. He doesn't walk, he doesn't talk, but Hudson is a miracle. And we're called Miracle of Hudson. Yeah. So do you remember that flight that
Miracle on the Hudson?
Miracle on the Hudson, right? Yeah. Like, so Captain Sully miraculously lands that thing on the Hudson River. Now, that flight was going from New York to Charlotte, right? New York to Charlotte. My brother-in-law was supposed to be on that flight. So Hudson's born here. Gibbs had already moved from D.C. to Charlotte and started his racing team. Rivera had gone from Charlotte to D.C. So there's this like huge D.C. Charlotte connection. So Hudson's born, and through the charity, through my brother's cancer, when I had done that fundraising, I met this guy, Mike, and Mike is just an amazing human being. Like, he's a brother now. So Mike has these connections. He gets me into children's through the CEO, and through that we get this nurse navigator. Yeah. So again, we have no clue what to do. At 3 months old, Hudson has lost weight. He is struggling. I mean, he's if you've ever like really run hard, and you're like breathing heavy, you can like feel like you're a strider. So that was every breath for Hudson. And so it took him a long time to feed.
It's got to be super hard to watch.
Oh, it's super hard to watch. So, but when you're in it, you don't even know it. Like he would come see me over at the house, and I didn't even know how bad I looked until I looked back at pictures. I'm like, oh my God, bro.
We talked about that earlier. Kids are like the ultimate innocence. And to watch them struggling when they
terrible.
And a baby,
like the child was in like a stroller, and he was on oxygen cannula and like
feeding tube.
You could see the veins, right, in the child's head and face, and like it was terrible.
Yeah,
and like you don't want to say anything because you're like, how do you be like?
Your
kid looks like sick. Really, is he gonna be okay? Yeah. Like, you don't want to say that.
And the doctors kept telling us like, oh, that's just his syndrome. So we would go into the doctor's office, and the new doctor
what does that mean? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But the new doctor would immediately be like, bro, is that baby okay? And we, oh, no, sir, that's just a syndrome. Yeah. And you know what they said? All right, cool. Okay. So I go to a doctor's appointment, and they put him on an oxygen, whatever, doesn't matter. But like he's like, the doctor was like, you have to go straight to the hospital right now, to Shady Grove Hospital across the street. So we go to Shady Grove. And then that was the beginning of like the worst part of Hudson was like, they're like, you're going to be here every week. Like we know what's going to happen. You're going to know us very well. And then Mike introduced us to children's. We get Susan. She becomes Captain Sully. She just lands that damn airplane on she lands the Hudson airplane.
Yeah.
And so like
I've met Susan. She's awesome.
She's amazing. And Susan, we love Susan.
And that's your nurse advisor?
That was our nurse navigator.
Yeah.
And if you've had cancer or been in a cancer ward, the term nurse navigator is normal. Everywhere else, it's abnormal. Like you don't even know about it. But what it does is it gives you a voice. It gives you an informed voice. It lets you focus on your baby. What it didn't do for us, because we didn't get it early enough, was like we didn't take pictures of Hudson as a baby.
Yeah.
It wasn't shame. It was like,
it's not your concern at that point. Yeah.
But it was like, it wasn't a celebration. So it wasn't shame, but it was like, I don't know. It was just like dark spot you're in where you're just not celebrating this baby because you're I don't know what the hell's going on. And man, we look backwards and we're like, damn, it would have been so great to have had pictures of us like celebrating Hudson, because right now he is a gift. I mean, he's awesome. We love him to death. So Miracle Hudson was born, and then we started. Cody was actually with me. We started this golf tournament not for Miracle Hudson. We started this golf tournament for veteran suicide. Had an amazing first tournament. That was sick. Thought that was gonna be a veteran suicide tournament forever, and it didn't matter. Like, things happen for a reason.
Sure. And
then Hudson's born, and then this tournament becomes Miracle Hudson's tournament. And so here we are. Our tournament's on Monday over here in Lakewood. Great. Monday afternoon at noon. Lawrence Taylor, Hall of Famers, coming out with us. Santana Moss, Fred Smoot, B. Mitch, Brian Mitchell. If anybody's watching, like, he's just one of the greatest human beings on the planet.
B. Mitch is good stuff.
He's awesome. We love B. Mitch. Smoot is another great individual. He's out there with us all the time. Vernon Davis. I haven't met Vernon yet, but Vernon's coming out this year.
Vernon's coming this year. Huh?
Yeah. Vernon's coming out. So every year
he's going to be going to Minnesota.
He's going to Minnesota. I know, when we bring the Caddy girls back, he won't be going to Minnesota, right? No, he'll change his flight.
100%.
Yeah,
100%. Megan,
who's also hosting a tournament at the end of June in Myrtle Beach. So if you're in Myrtle Beach, they only have a couple foursomes left.
Right? A little shout out to the Caddy girls.
And Megan does a lot of work in Guatemala with these kids. Like, Megan's amazing at what she does.
She's awesome. She really is. So I just, it's like you let people do their thing, but you sit back and, like, Megan, for example, right? It's like she went on Shark Tank and she did this whole thing, and she presented a whole, the Caddy girls take hot girls and put them, on the golf course, and they'll do whatever they want you to do. Like, but they know golf, right?
Yeah, they actually know golf.
But she's amazing.
Oh, she's amazing.
Yeah, she's super smart. She does an amazing job with, she travels. It's like, I don't know. It's like 3 or 4 months out of the year.
Oh yeah, she's in Guatemala a lot. Yeah,
Guatemala, and she helps these.
And when she shows up, they swarm her.
It's amazing.
I mean, it's awesome.
It's amazing to watch.
It is.
Yeah. So it's like there's a lot of good people, and the charity, the tournament, all of these things. Like I tell everybody, it checks the boxes.
Yeah, 100%.
Right. So it's like when I it's like I played in a lot of golf tournaments, and you go to this, you go to that, and you're like, all right, here's the this, here's the that, the money,
yeah.
But when it checks the boxes,
it
doesn't matter. It really doesn't.
It never ceases to amaze me, the people who put stuff like this on. We work 40, 60-hour weeks. It's a lot of work. Still go to the gym, still do our thing, still help other people. Just
says a lot about us.
Yeah,
hats off to this guy
for sure,
and his team and everybody else that puts this thing together. It's because it is not a small.
It's not
feat.
Easy.
It's huge.
No, and hats off to this guy. He helped launch it, and honestly, we're getting him back involved with the tournament. And that was no fault. He didn't leave, but now I put her on out publicly, so now he's definitely involved in the tournament. But no, I'll be honest. So I try my best. So there's years I got preachy on social media. I just got preachy, and I realized that I was like, oh, don't be that guy. And then I kind of completely disappeared on the other end. Sure. And so I'm trying to find that balance between not preaching, but also staying present with the mission.
Yeah.
But here's what I will say for anybody that has any interest. And I always tell people, you got to find what moves you. If rare disease doesn't move you, then go somewhere else. There's plenty of problems in our world, but here's what I will say. Rare disease, 7,500 people a year are born with rare disease, and not a year. Maybe I think it's a year. So 7,500 people a year are born with rare disease. Yeah, the only thing rare about the disease
in the world, not the U.S.
That's the U.S. No, the world's
much
larger.
Yeah,
the world's much larger.
I mean, outside of the U.S., it's probably even much larger.
Yeah,
just because of care and other things that go on.
Yeah,
but yeah,
still either way.
But again, the point being, it's not rare. Rare disease isn't rare. The only thing rare is the actual disease. That's it. But if you really think about it, they're all they have a lot of similarities.
No.
And there's just not that like champion, that general manager who understands how to coordinate this entire thing. And Susan was the only one that was that person in the country I'm talking about. And we got her.
Did she really know how to? I mean, and I'm not saying anything bad about Susan. I know what she did for your family.
Yeah, man.
What I'm saying is, did she really understand Hudson? Right? No,
nobody does.
It was just the process.
It was. She's a nurse practitioner.
Exactly.
That's important. So she had the knowledge to prescribe medicine, to challenge.
This is what hasn't been conveyed.
100%.
Right?
So she's a nurse practitioner.
She's not an expert in Hudson's disease.
She had never heard of it. So to be clear, Hudson is number 46 in the world with this syndrome. 46. 45 people before him ever in the world have had his syndrome.
That's crazy.
And Susan coordinated his treatment amazingly.
Because she's a pit bull, right?
She's a pit bull. She's compassionate. She has the experience and the knowledge. I'm telling you, when you have most nurse navigators are not MPs. They're just,
MPs
and nurse practitioner.
Thank you.
But, and there's nothing wrong with that. If you have the compassion, you're probably awesome for what you do.
Yep.
In rare disease, there is no other way you can do this. You have to be a nurse practitioner because you have to challenge doctors on what they're saying.
Yeah.
And you can't do that.
They don't know too. And it's like I said, I
want to move that back so you stop beating it up.
Yeah.
Boom.
A point you made earlier. A point you made earlier is like, you can focus on your child at that point. And
that's exactly what
so, I mean,
that's a huge point.
Cancer ran in my family too. My dad had lymphoma. He's dealing with a whole nother brain thing right now. Actively.
Sorry, brother.
But my mom's in listening to the doctors and they're spewing information. She has a high school degree.
Yeah.
So who's there to like, me and my brother are both in medicine and we're not there to help and we're not there to translate. So they just overload and then they walk out and then you're
done.
All you care about is caring for your loved one.
Yeah.
Where you need someone to translate that and then give you the information 100%. That is necessary for you to make decisions for the care of your child or your loved one.
Yeah.
That will improve the outcome at the end
100%.
of the day. So without her, I don't know how you do it. And in these rare disease cases, like, I mean, even on the medical side, that's what.
But how different is a child than a parent?
Yeah,
right?
I mean, it's like
when it's a baby.
It is.
So we're very acute to the baby. Yeah. We are not an organization that's going to take a 30-year-old rare disease patient. Yeah. That's just not us.
Brand new.
This is as soon as that baby is born, we want the first call to be Miracle of Hudson because we need to teach them right away that you need an advocate and you need to focus on that baby. That's it.
And that's where you can affect change.
Loving the baby.
You can affect major change at very young age. Yeah. Right. So this genetic shift can happen during that time,
100%.
Like with medical stuff.
Right. Because strangely, it's not set. Right. It's, I mean, it is, but
kids are resilient at the end of the day. And like
they can come through a lot.
Everything's not matured yet. So if you can bump it in the right direction with the help of new technologies and whatnot,
it's not set in stone.
You can kick them right off that path and into a normal.
To a degree. I mean, I don't want to think that.
No, but it's
I mean, there's no magic.
Who's your therapist? Like, do you need occupational therapy? Do you need speech therapy? Sure. Do you need physical therapy? What do you need?
How wrong were they? I mean, I'm not saying I'm trying to kick anybody in the nuts right now. They were wrong.
With some of the best medicine.
I went through this with him. Yeah. They were wrong.
This area
they thought that it was like it was the dude was hungry. Like he just couldn't eat. He wanted food, right? He wanted like a normal human being. He wanted food to develop and to progress. And because of his cleft palate, like he had a cleft in the
but
rear,
a major cleft,
right? Not in the front, not in the front, in the rear. So like he couldn't take in substance.
He couldn't latch.
And like, no offense to our listeners in the Midwest.
Yeah.
All None. 2 of you.
or less. -2.
I mean, the DC metro area has like some of the best medicine in the world.
Well, so Children's DC is top 5.
Yeah.
So we had that.
And they were wrong.
And they're wrong.
So Children's got it pretty much right now. Here's if there's a medical person listening, and if you're dealing with medical people, you got to understand.
I mean, maybe I'm wrong. correct me if I'm wrong. So, but we were talking about this, and I was like, bro, I was like, it sounds like he's not eating, and you were like, well, I mean, he is eating, and I'm like, is he getting food? And then like that was the conversation, like,
so Hudson, so when he was first born, they were trying to have him breastfeed, which is asinine.
It's insane.
I mean, he has a cleft palate. I mean, you could see straight through his nasal cavity. Like, he's not going to be able to latch on to anything. So his blood sugar was like spiking, going down. And so they kept threatening. It's an important term for rare disease to understand. They kept threatening ICU to PICU to us. And I'm like, don't threaten it, man. Deliver it. Like, offer it.
Yeah.
It was always a threat to us. Like, if he doesn't do this, he's going to go pick you. If he doesn't do this, he's going to pick you. I'm like, dude, don't do that. Listen, you guys get some rest real quick. We're taking him to pick you. Like, we want to help you guys out. Like, let's take him to pick you. Like, that should have been immediately,
100%.
Which Miracle Hudson would absolutely advocate for. And then he's eating. So, I mean, now I'm spending, like, my wife, she stays at home, takes care of Hudson. She's an amazing human being. But when he's born, she's dealing with some hormonal issues, of course, just delivering a baby and having a rare disease baby. Yeah. And so I'm honestly taking care of this baby all through the night and all through the day in the beginning. And I mean, I'm literally trying to feed this kid. So I spend, it's taking him about 90 minutes to drink a bottle. A 6-ounce bottle of milk is 90 minutes, right? So we're sitting here and he's seeing it. Everybody's seeing, he's 3 months old and he's lost weight. All he's doing is eating. I'm like, how is this kid losing weight? He doesn't do anything else besides eat, because that's all I do. What happened was he was literally spending more calories eating that bottle than he was getting.
Yeah.
So then eventually our geneticist says failure to thrive appointment. We go into Children's Hospital. This is about 4.5, 5 months old. And that's where Susan just like hit her stride.
That's awesome.
I mean, she just coordinated our geneticist, who's the top geneticist in the world, honestly, if you ask me, Dr. Rosenbaum, who we call Grandpa Rosenbaum, and Aunt Susan's Susan. They're like family to us. And so, like,
isn't that crazy though? Like, you get so close to
and that's full circle,
right?
That's the full circle.
Yeah.
Like, I realized early,
so
not early. I realized
me.
After Chris's cancer that, like, holy shit, man, if I like raise a ton of money and not just a little bit of money, if I give a real shit about this instead of a little shit about this, like, if I make an impact, first of all, I impact them in a great way, but dude, it always comes back more than I give. Oh, and it's never failed. Like, if no matter how much I give, and I try my best to give more than I take, I've never given more than I've taken.
But you can never give expecting more.
Oh, you can't.
That,
100%.
right?
You gotta be passionate.
You give expecting nothing.
That's
in return.
Yeah.
And that was the shift Chris's cancer gave me.
Always.
Yeah.
That's all it is, man.
That's the gift.
That is every time.
100%.
And that's what
that's the secret.
I'm telling you right now, like, nothing pains me more, like nothing disgusts me more than people that put their charitable givings on social media, and you're like, you're not giving to give, you're giving to receive,
or
you're giving so that people can recognize this and be like, I did this.
It's to build goodwill.
That's disgusting. That's, to me.
But I was that guy.
Well, I mean,
it's honestly, it's not that disgusting to me. Listen,
to me, it is.
I need all your money. If you're selfish and want to do this for you, give me your money, bro. Because rare disease needs your money. So you just come here, and I will give you all the goodwill in the world that you need, and you go use it for business and wherever else you want. Now, if you want to live the life that I'm living now and get the impact back,
do it.
That's where you're not going to get it.
Just do it.
But honestly, I don't give a shit. Give me $1 million and do it for yourself, and I will gladly accept your $1 million and tell you you're a good person.
I'll give you
tap you on the ass and send you out.
Check on social media.
Yeah,
this guy gave you $1 million. Yeah. We're good.
But here's the cool thing. So we're in Charlotte. So we moved to Fort Mill 3 years ago. I don't even know what time it is, but we moved to Fort Mill 3 years ago.
Doesn't matter.
And my neighbor says to me, James,
do we have a clock on this? I don't think so.
All right, good. So my neighbor says, James, I want to like nominate you for this event, for this company sponsorship or donation or whatever. And I'm like, and I told him, Jason Fox, he's an amazing human being in my neighborhood. And I'm like, Jason, actually, I didn't even say this to him. I said to my wife, I said, Carrie, I don't know what we're going to have to do. We're probably getting like $10,000. Like, should I even do this? Like, how much effort are we going to have to put into this?
No.
But I was like, you know what? We need every dollar we can.
Yeah.
Let's do this. So I say yes. We go to this, what do you call it? Clay, is it pigeon shoot? I'm not a shooter. Like, with a disc fly.
I'm not a shooter.
Me neither.
What's it called?
No, we're not shooters.
I know you are. But what's it called with the disc fly? clay disc.
We're not shooters.
Sporting disc. Whatever the hell it is.
Clay pigeon shooting.
Clay pigeon. So I go there. Now, I'm just there to give our story.
We're not shooters.
Right. That sounds so soft. All right. So I go there just to give our spiel. And then they end up putting us in this thing. And the guy's like, all right, well, I'm going to put you with this amazing person, Daniel. I'm like, all right, great. So Daniel comes up to me. He's like, hey, bud, like, welcome to the team. He works for Brassfield Goring. I say, great. He says, all right. So do you want 12 gauge or 20 gauge? I'm like, what the hell are you talking about, bro? Like, I don't even know what you're talking about.
Do you want penis or vagina?
Right. So I'm like, give me the gun that I can shoot and like not look like a fool.
Tell me he gave you the 20 gauge.
I'm sure he did.
He gave me the 20 gauge, not 12 gauge. He did.
You're not ready for this, sir.
He did. Now, and here's what I'll thank him later.
See, I would have given him a 12 gauge with 3-inch mags
with the max loads.
No, he gave me the 20.
Hold this up to your eye.
Yeah. So we
put the stock right like
no. So sidebar, real quick.
Yeah, let's go.
The first time I took Allison clay pigeon, I gave her my over and under with 3-inch mags in it, and she pulls the trigger and she's like turns around, she's like, why are my teeth buzzing?
Wait, over and under is the bullet.
Yeah, so it's a no.
See, here's where I am.
So the 2 barrels like over and under.
Yeah. All right,
and
that's what we were shooting.
Yeah. So 3-inch magnums are a complete overkill.
Cody's so embarrassed right now.
No, I'm not.
He's been trying to get me to shoot for like 10 years of them.
So my wife goes and shoots clay pigeons with me, and I hand her that. So Browning over and under.
Yeah.
Boom. Like she goes spinning around in a circle, like she had her cheek against the.
Why is my teeth vibrating?
Vibrating.
Yeah.
Because you have a concussion.
Yeah.
Perhaps.
So continue.
Yeah.
So
carry on.
Well, so this has become funny. I wasn't gonna tell the story, but now I am. So so Daniel's like, he's like, all right, well, here's your box of.
We didn't bring up guns with us.
Here's your box of bullets, and I'm like, cool. And then I can tell that he's expecting me to just roll and like know what I'm doing. I'm like, well, hold on, bud. How do I load the fucking thing? Like, I don't know what I'm doing. He literally looks up at the heavens and says, like, takes a deep breath and says, this is gonna be a long day. Doesn't say that, but says that, and then looks at me. He's like, okay, come here. Yeah, so he teaches me how to load the gun, and then I'm like, well, how do I unload the gun? And then he's just like, oh my god,
pull the trigger.
This fucking guy, right? So Carrie's with me.
How do I unload it?
Yeah. So because he was doing like you know, and then it's like flying over his shoulder and right in the trash can. Like he's just hitting it every time. And I'm like, how the fuck does this guy do this?
Because he does it 12 times a day. Or
so if you've never done this, it's really cool. It's like a golf tournament. Like you have the front 9, the back 9. You're on a golf cart.
It's awesome.
It's incredible. I'm like addicted now.
I feel like we talked about it either on the first one or in person.
Clay pigeon shooting?
No. So we must have had that conversation on the side, but I went to a shooting tournament, and I do, if you saw the first podcast, I do long distance shooting.
This guy's badass.
I know.
Yeah. I mean,
I did a course.
Landon has got to meet him because Landon,
I'm good
with all this.
This guy, I done.
And I did a course like you suggested, and we're going out there, and I probably shot, 12, 20 stations, whatever it is. I probably hit like 7 birds, which was very humbling for him.
I'm just happy to hear this.
Yeah,
shotguns are different though.
They're coming over your back. Yeah, they're coming from the side. They're going on the ground.
Yeah, someone on the ground. The rabbits they call them, right?
And they go, and I'm like, I wasn't ready. Can we do that again?
It's very different.
Very different.
Very.
Hey,
different.
I had 2. They call it clean sites.
Sure.
2 where I hit every single one.
There you go.
Right,
dude, that's good.
So then I get to the back 9.
That's good.
Oh, dude, I get to the back 9, and this pansy, bro, my shoulder,
the shoulder's done.
It's
done.
I mean, I literally am grimacing before I can pull the trigger. I'm like, oh my god! So I'm taking my wife's vest. Literally, I'm wearing my wife's vest so that it'll give me what, a quarter inch of cushion.
A little bit.
But I finished 56 out of 100.
That's
Carrie finished 50.
Terrible.
Hey, I was at 48.
That's fucking terrible.
On 8. All right.
He had a 20 gauge.
So
he had less opportunity. So let's give him that.
That 12 gauge. I mean, dude, my shoulder was sore for a week.
My face is sore after that because you're always like, you have it against here. And Kicks you back and you're like,
I had 12 gauge max loads.
yeah.
Those are like, they're vicious. They're vicious. Like 12 gauge max loads, they'll leave a bruise.
Dude, oh, I was bruised, bro.
But
no, you know what Daniel didn't tell me? He didn't tell me, like, put that thing hard against you. He didn't.
You have to.
I didn't know that. So I'm just like putting it loose against the shoulder.
Nah,
I mean, it's just kicking the shit out of me, bro.
Should have just put it over against your cheek.
I mean, I basically did, bro.
Right.
It was rough, bro.
Jeez,
but
we need a video
That guy
of
should be
this.
fired.
Yeah.
no, he's an amazing
That guy
person. Daniel, I love you.
He's an amazing person.
Hey,
but
here's where I was going with this, though. So I moved to Charlotte. They do this event for us. It was, I mean, I had a blast, right? So then, but then I'm like, damn, these guys they're rolling up with their own Polaris 4-seater, like, what do you call them? ATVs, essentially.
Yeah.
Four-wheelers.
Sure.
Right? Like, they're literally taking off their like trailer.
I'm about to call John out right now.
Call John.
I'm about to pee my pants.
To go.
All right.
There you go.
I didn't know the rules of the podcast. Time out.
Hold on. Wait for this. Wait,
before I go.
One will cut it.
wait for this,
Like,
then you go.
Or
Dude.
if there's good shit going on here,
Continue.
nobody cares.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, it's
So,
whatever.
so then I have to like tell the story, which Cody knows me. I cry every time I tell the story. So I'm looking around.
He's a crier.
I am.
He's a
Like,
crier.
I look around. I'm like, dude, there's like 4 women and a bunch of tough ass dudes here. This is not gonna go the way it usually goes. Like, I'm usually in front of like golfers or women, like. And so I'm like, man, I don't know what I'm gonna do. But Carrie, should I change the story? She's like, no, you stick with the story. I'm like, all right, I'll stick with the story. So I'm like, all right, well, I won't get that emotional because I'm with a bunch of dudes. Well, as soon as I start talking, I say that story I said about Hudson, about like seeing him the first time and things were different, and just fucking break down like I always do. And I'm like, man, this is gonna suck. Like, these guys are just gonna laugh me off the stage, bro. I thought I was gonna get like $8,000 to $10,000 from this company. Do you know how much we got from them? $50,000.
Damn, dude.
Bro, I dropped to my knees. Like, you thought I was crying when I was telling the story. No. I cried harder when I got $50,000 check in my hand. $50,000. Like, I'm like, this is 1/3 of a nurse practitioner, nurse navigator. Like, we're so close to actually making this actually happen and help the first family. Like, you impacted me in a way that like you can't impact another way. And so, which I'm going to come full circle here and talk to you about why I'm saying this. That impact Brassfield and Gorey made on me will last the rest of my life.
Yeah.
I tell everybody about Brassfield and Gorey.
Yeah.
But had they not made that impact on me, had they give me a $6,000 check, it wouldn't have impacted me, bro.
Yeah.
Say the company's name again.
Brassfield and Gorey, they're a big commercial construction company out of Atlanta, Georgia, and in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Hey, give them a true shout.
Oh, true shot. They get shots everywhere I go. So
Yeah.
Brassfield and Gorey.
I didn't know who they were until just now.
Oh man, Jason Fox is the guy that introduced us to Brassfield and Gorey, and Daniel took us under his wing. I met all the managing directors of the Greenville office, the Charlotte office. I mean, I'll tell you this, and we all know this, right? You've had a lot of employees in your life. Like, the bigger your company grows, the harder it is to rein that culture in and keep it like tight.
It's hard.
Dude, this is like a thousands of employees, bro. I'll go home to like on Tuesday. I'll open my mailbox. I'll get a check from their employees. It'll be a check for between $2,000 and $3,500 that they voluntarily defer to me, to our charity. Every single month we get this.
Dude, that's amazing.
Every single month, bro. We have people that make $30,000 a year give us money.
That comes from the top down.
100%.
You know,
how do you
that
keep that
comes-
culture, man? Like,
Well, it's not even that. It's
That's
just like,
crazy.
I mean, you present it to people and you're like, look, this is who we are, right? This is an organization that we love, and this is who they are, right?
it's sick.
And so people go, wow, that's what I want to give to.
That's who I want to
'Cause
be.
it's-
I want to be Brassfield and Gorey. Like, I want my company to be Brassfield and Gorey. One day.
You know, man, I hear that and I appreciate that. I really do. I want to be the person that gives a fuck.
No, I'm with you on that.
Right?
Yeah.
I just
Well,
want
you already are.
I just want to be the person that gives a fuck.
Yeah.
And I don't care what I give a fuck about.
Right.
I want to care about something. Right?
Hey, that's the intentional way. You gotta care deeply and impact what you care about.
I want to care about something.
Like, the coolest
So-
thing ever was, remember, I introduced you to her. I don't know if you remember her. Nancy Schlossberg she was a University of Maryland professor, moved to Florida. She's like
It's weird that you brought
96
this
years
up.
old.
It's weird.
she has this crazy, not crazy. She has this
memory is like as long as
she has this concept that she had got from a colleague when they were in their like 40s, 50s, teaching at University of Maryland.
Yep.
Called, I'm still beating this thing up, called mattering. And I was like, so
you are.
Yeah. I know. I'm like, you know, I use my hands, Cody. You made this set too tight for me. Anyway, so I'm like, so I
turned your mic all the way up.
I know.
Like you're the only, like I have to talk here.
I know. Oh my God. Yeah.
Still got you.
Yeah. Still beating the shit out of it. So I call this lady up. I don't know her from anybody. She doesn't know me from Adam.
Yeah.
So I call her. I'm like, hey, I read this book called Revitalizing Retirement, and you're the author, and I want to talk to you. So she goes on this podcast with me on our podcast, and I meet her. So here, it's a very easy concept to understand, but it's super like profound.
Yeah.
So the concept of mattering means we all want to matter to others, and we all have others that matter to us.
Yeah.
Like how simple is that to understand? But if you sit in that for a second, holy shit, that's powerful.
No, that's
like who do you want to matter to, and who matters to you? And when you leave this world, bro, like
that's it.
That's all that matters. Steve Jobs.
No pun intended.
Did he not say it perfectly though?
Yeah.
He was like, man, if I could do it again,
it doesn't matter.
I would have done it so differently. Like
all
that money, all that
matter.
None of it mattered, man. I didn't make the impact I wanted to make.
Yeah,
that's the intentional way.
Yeah,
that's the intentional golf tournament.
I honestly never want that regret. Like
Ever.
late in your life where you're like, I would have done it different.
Yeah.
Like never.
But if you leave with impact, this is what tragedy and trauma taught me. And
it teaches you a lot.
It teaches you a lot. It teaches you more than any other lesson you'll ever take.
Yeah.
It teaches you that if you impact the world, your world, not the world, your world, the way you want to impact it, whenever that time is, because who knows, bro? Like,
could be tomorrow.
It could. I'm like living 8 years on borrowed time right now, and I'm like, holy shit, man! Like, if I had left that day, right, it would have been good. I wouldn't have been happy about it. Like, I wouldn't have been happy about the impact I made before that day.
Yeah.
No, that was awesome. No, that day had to happen. That day had to happen.
Just making sure we're not talking about the same day.
No, same day. It was an awesome day. It had to happen. But like, so that transformed the tournament, that transformed the charity, and that transformed the business. Did I beat up again?
Yeah, you're just killing that thing.
I tried to dodge it.
No, you're not dodging it.
This is whiskey beating. It's a whiskey thoughts.
I think I beat the shit out of that mic last time too.
Oh, no, you were over there.
I know, but I still hit that one somehow.
Maybe
he's just trying to make me feel better.
That
he's just trying to make me feel better about myself.
That mic's louder than any other mic.
It is.
Oh, you gave me the loud mic,
dude.
You know me, bro.
Listen, I would love to have this thing over here.
Oh my god,
y'all can't even hear me, right?
Yeah, it sounds like you're in the bathroom.
Yeah, you are in the bathroom.
Hello.
You got that,
that's where it's supposed to be.
DJ voice.
That's where it's supposed to be.
Next up on stage, Mercedes
Tiffany. Yeah, I mean, he's like feet away from it, and that's how it's supposed to be. I don't know.
It's true.
Yeah. Yo, talk to me. No, that's still far.
Maybe you're just loud.
He projects.
I am loud,
Yeah,
but you knew I was loud.
He's a projector.
That's the last thing I'm not.
He's a projector.
So that was the charity. That was the story.
Right, so,
I don't get emotional more, and I wish I did, but it's just I'm a little bit farther.
You
away.
do. I mean, like, yeah. I mean, you can see it.
Like I'm passionate.
Yeah,
I don't cry anymore, which is a good thing and a bad thing.
Well,
right?
I mean, you're talking to us right now.
I know
we're not being emotional.
But the important thing for me to communicate now, I was talking to Marquise about this. I was like, I think my message has to change because like the visceral like emotion behind it, like Hudson's doing well now, man. Like, and you've seen me my worst, bro. Like I was talking to Cody when like I didn't know what was going to happen with my life. I was probably the darkest point in my life, honestly.
It was bad. But whatever.
So it's cool that I'm sitting here now, like able to talk and celebrate and enjoy Hudson and enjoy what we've done.
That's the point. You got through the.
But the bigger point is, I'm a middle class American who I'm just saying I came in the right channel, right? Like I came in the only channel.
Middle class.
Yeah, lower middle class.
Lower middle class. Okay. All right. Just making sure.
Here's what I'm saying.
Sure.
I think those parameters have been redefined.
I think that. Yeah.
Here's what I'm saying.
It's like me being like, I'm a lesbian transgender.
Well, you
I'm not a lesbian transgender.
I mean, if everyone
And you are not lower middle class. So go fuck yourself.
All right, well, either way,
go back and watch podcast number 1.
Yeah,
either way,
And he says he wants to be a hot bitch.
he can't.
I want to be a hot bitch.
Did you see my Halloween with the blonde hair?
If I was gonna be I repeat this. If I was gonna be a transgender, I want to be a hot bitch. It is what it is.
And like I said,
and a swimmer.
Go
And a
all
swimmer.
in.
Yeah, go do it.
Go all
Go
in.
all in.
Yep.
Banger. Yeah, anyway, so
Yeah.
tell us about your go all in.
That, dude, the point I was getting it to was the story from Miracle Hudson, which this is an exciting like transition for us, honestly.
Yeah.
It's no longer my story.
It's trans story.
It's not that story. It's no longer my story. It's the stories that are going to be told.
Yeah.
And like we have talked, and I can't wait to get these stories on video. We have talked to families that don't speak English as a first language. We talked to families that are lower income families who are single parents working 3 jobs.
Yeah.
Imagine trying to challenge a doctor. So I did tell you this story. We had a pulmonologist that was talking to us, and the greatest advice I ever got, it wasn't from Mike. It wasn't from anybody expected. It's from Annette Peretzman, my good friend Josh and Seth's mom. And so Annette, Mrs. Peretzman, sees me soon after Hudson's born, and she says she's a special needs teacher in Montgomery County.
Sure. Yeah.
And she says, Jimmy, she called me Jimmy. Jimmy, everybody's going to tell you what he can't do, and you're going to tell everybody that you're only allowed to tell me what he can do. It wasn't profound at the time.
That's powerful.
But it's profound in my life. So
Sure.
So that's like sat with me, and I sat in that for a minute.
Hear the negative shit.
Yeah, I don't want to know what he can't do. I want to know what he can do.
I don't care.
And so I had this pulmonologist who's telling me that Hudson's going to be on oxygen indefinitely.
I remember this.
Is his term indefinitely?
I remember this.
And Susan's with me, and Carrie's with me, and I'm sitting there, and I am boiling.
Dude,
I mean, I am
you called me like
mad.
I think you called me within
Probably on the way home
minutes.
from the hospital, dude. I mean, I'm like, if you know me, I'm a lover, not a fighter. Like, I want everybody to get along, and I want to punch this dude right in the face.
Yeah.
I'm going to come across this table, and I'm going to knock this doctor out. So I take deep breaths, and I'm like, doctor, I'm not going to say his name. I'm like, doctor, you don't know whether he's going to be on oxygen indefinitely. And he looks at me and he says, how many years did you go to medical school? And I'm like,
That's a wrong answer at that point.
Yeah,
and so I'm like, oh my God, I'm getting more fired
that
up.
guy gets.
And going back to like the teacher statement, like challenge that.
Oh,
Like,
so
like look, I can't imagine saying that to a patient at the end of the day. Like,
oh no, he said it very confident too. Very confident.
Yeah.
Right in my
for
eyes,
now,
actually.
like
Because you challenged his.
Right.
well,
His
and that's-
masculinity in that office is what I challenge.
we talked about that last time, and it's like I question all of your training, all of your schooling, all that when
whatever.
you
Doesn't
say
matter.
something so stupid.
So I
Because
said,
there are miracles and there are things that happen,
so
and there are paths that change.
hey,
Like during the,
I said the only thing I knew to
it's
say.
likely that he will be.
Yeah.
But
But
to challenge that, train him to do X.
but
Very different conversation.
So I said, hey, doctor,
you want me to buy into your bullshit? Definitive.
Yeah, indefinitely,
And,
indefinitely.
Definitive.
And he's just so fucking.
Taxes and death are like
Yeah.
the only.
Yeah.
So I said, Doc, I'll call him this. I'll call him Dr. P.
Taxes are theft.
Dr. P. So Dr. P. I said, Dr. P. Now I'm 90
What's
days
the,
in.
What's the second letter in his name?
Yeah, E. So I'm 90 days
Third.
in. Romeo.
I'll
So
keep going.
I'm 90 days in.
Fourth.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Echo Zebra. So I'm 90 days in on. Did I get that? I think I actually got that right.
Sixth.
Like that's actually the military.
Echo zebra.
You're doing all right.
Yeah, you're doing all right.
Romeo.
I understand.
We're tracking.
All right.
Yeah,
I'm just impressed with myself.
yeah.
All right.
I'm actually impressed too.
Yeah.
That guy writes with crayons.
I
and-
shoot a 20 gauge, but I can get.
I was like, guys, he understands phonetics. He shoots a 20 gauge shotgun. Wow. So maybe his
56
vagina lips
times.
are like.
I'm thinking we can have you on again.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Thank you.
So the only thing I can think to say, which was powerful, I said, Dr. P, I'm 90 days in. How many days do you have with a partial trisomy 11q 14q patient? And he looked at me and said, I don't understand. I'm like,
You're like, bitch, there's 26 of them in the world.
How many days do you have with my son? How many days? He's like, well, clearly none. He's the 46th case ever. I'm like, cool. So I believe I'm the expert because I'm 90 days in, bro. I'm 90 days.
Good.
I love it.
I have. I've been 89 days on you.
Yeah.
So
and
shut the
and
fuck
on the rest
up.
of the world, I got like multiple.
It's
So-
Shut the fuck up.
So
what a perfect response.
So
Like,
I said
ours
I said,
would be visceral. That
well,
would
yeah.
like
It would be break the nose.
yeah.
grabbing whatever tool off the table.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So
Fantastic.
Susan's like,
Fantastic.
Susan's doing a good job. She's like, trying to calm down. So then he says to me, listen, I'm sorry to say this, but and then he starts talking about tracheotomy and this. He's like, it's gonna be indefinite. And I was like, okay, Susan, I don't know what to do. And
Dude,
she was like, Dr. P, I almost said it. Dr. P, we're gonna stop this conversation. Susan understands the energy. She's like, James, we gotta go. She gets me out. She's like, James, I've never seen you even upset like at all.
I remember all this. Goddamn.
Dude, here's the greatest part.
Man, love knows no boundaries.
I
Right?
know.
Like,
Oh, no boundaries. You're
Yeah.
right. Like, the lover that will never fight was
Yeah.
like ready to literally go across that table, and
Yeah.
I would have done anything he wanted to do.
such a fragile.
Yeah, my guy.
You're fragile.
Oh, my
child.
God.
Your guy.
But he's your dude.
You're talking to
Like,
my
at the
guy
end of
all
the-
wrong.
Yeah.
30 days later, and not a day after that has he been on oxygen.
That's amazing.
Indefinitely,
Yeah.
bro.
Fuck. Dr. P.
Indefinitely, he was gonna be on oxygen. And here's the crazy part, bro. He needed the oxygen. He did. He needed it.
He needed.
He needed
but
that.
it wasn't.
He needed the feeding tube. He needed all of it. I just didn't want to hear anything about indefinite.
Yeah.
Because that thought in my head was like,
he was wrong.
Because that becomes terminal.
He was wrong.
right,
And it's not terminal.
right. But here's the crazy
Like
part.
that little dude's
He-
gonna fight as hard as he wants to.
Yeah.
He was wrong.
He's wrong.
He was wrong.
And I can't wait to see him. I
100%.
will see him again.
Wrong.
I haven't seen him since because we fired him that day. I was like, Susan, he
I
will
don't wanna-
never,
I
he
don't
will
wanna talk to
never
that
look at my
guy.
son
Yeah,
again.
yeah.
And we have a great pulmonologist now. Here's the crazy part. So here's another like simple statement, but it became profound.
No.
My geneticist, when Hudson was born, and I was like distraught. He's like, James, when's Landon gonna get married?
Talk to me.
Talk to me.
Talk to me, Goose.
Again. He's like, when is Landon gonna get married? I don't know, Doc. Cool. Is he gonna get married? I was like, I hope so.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. He's like, cool. How long is Landon gonna live? I was like,
The fuck
I
are
mean,
you
I don't
asking
know.
me?
I don't know. He's like, okay. So you have no expectations for Landon, right? I was like, no.
None.
He's like, so why are you asking me if Hudson's ever gonna get married or fall in love or
Yeah.
talk or any of these things? Like, why are you asking these questions when you didn't ask any of these questions about your older son? And I was like, holy shit, man, you're right. So like in a crazy place, like, so for Hudson, and this is the profound moment in my life, honestly, like for Hudson, I started with no expectations. So when he goes to that door jam and picks out a yellow shirt
Yeah.
and wants to put it on before bed, what was my reaction? I mean, I'm coming in meeting John for the first time tonight, and I'm like giddy about my son picking out his shirt to go to sleep in.
Yeah, the green shirt.
Landon's picked up plenty of shirts to go to sleep in. So Landon started life, and I had all these expectations, and then I just worked them down. And Hudson came into this world with no expectations, and I just worked them up.
Wow.
And I'm like, man, what if we all just worked up the expectations instead of working them down? What if we just
It's
didn't
amazing.
put expectations on anybody, friends, family, kids, anybody?
I think we'd be better people.
Holy
For
cow,
sure.
man.
All right, so are we? We'll get into this.
Like
So
that's impact, bro.
Well,
That's
It's
awesome.
been maybe 10 years. I have this thing called buckets, right? Buckets. And it's like I've really been living.
I used to drop.
Well,
buttons,
yeah,
bro.
but this is how I live, right?
Okay, go ahead.
I put everyone I meet in a bucket. I don't give a shit who you are, what you do. Like I meet you, and within 5 minutes, that's God's gift to me. Like I can tell you pretty much who you are. Like, and if you know me, like within like 5 minutes, I know who you are. I can be like, that guy's fucking full of shit, and it doesn't matter how much time goes by. That guy's full of shit. But that's me. So I really do. I believe that like the buckets drive everything. So I meet people, I assess people, and I put them in buckets. And what those buckets are, the expectations drive the bucket. So if I meet you, and I'm like, all right, well, that guy's cool, but I put him in this bucket. Everything about you, these are the expectations, right? I expect nothing more, nothing less. Good, bad, or indifferent. That's what I expect of you.
Right.
So if you're in a bucket that's a fucked up bucket, like, okay.
I mean, you sort of did something to get there, probably originally.
Well, but it's whether it's initial or whether it's earned, right?
Assessed.
You're always
observed. Yeah.
You're always like, okay, well, that guy doesn't belong in that bucket anymore. Like, this guy or girl belongs in this bucket.
I mean,
like,
you have the opportunity to jump out of the bucket.
Well, these people,
but you got to work to do it.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. Like, you
Sure.
put people in buckets, and the expectations of who they are and what they bring. That's all it is. And so that's what you were talking about.
100%.
Right?
I put Land in a bucket and Bentley bucket.
You put your sons,
two of them,
who didn't have genetic issues,
right,
in this bucket.
Yeah.
And then you put your son that did in
complete
this bucket.
100%.
When all you need to do was be like, you know what? This is the bucket.
Well, it's like the Steve, what's his name? Steve Covey, I think. I don't know the name. I might butcher that, but like, listen to understand, not respond.
Yeah.
Like, man, what if we just like acted to understand, not respond? You know what I'm saying? Like in 2022,
it's really hard though.
I know it is, but but that's the beauty of like the bad parts of your life.
Sure.
Right. Like, it just highlights, like, man, like, just be humbled a little bit, come back over here and just understand that, like, you don't need to like solve everything or understand everything. You just need to like observe.
Sure.
Until you understand.
Listen more, talk less.
Yeah,
like,
man.
The whole thing. Like, I love just like evaluating rooms and watching people and do what they do.
Very unlike you.
Yeah. I mean, alphas rule rooms at times, and it quickly escalates to that, right? But initially, I like to just understand the room, see who's in it,
who's who,
see what the buckets are, and listen to everything that's going on. So, it goes back to being the smartest person in a room. Like, I feel like I'm always the dumbest person in a room because I put myself in rooms that are like well above my capabilities.
Which is awesome.
Which I love, dude. And you take a little bit of everything away.
100%.
And then you learn and you apply it to your bucket. And you can do better things with more people.
I need to be in better rooms.
You're in great rooms.
No, I don't think
you
so.
put me in great rooms.
Look at my room right now.
I love this room. It's a great room.
I'm the dumbest guy in this room right now.
That's not true.
No, tonight, like, definitely tonight, like, I feel like the dumbest guy in the room because, like, you guys are like the financial stuff, like, I don't understand, but I rely on you to help me out. But then on the medical side, like, you guys rely on me.
Yeah,
so that's what the yin and yang of things, right?
100%.
So
100%.
That's why you have your core.
You find guys.
Your group.
You find guys.
Yeah, and you just.
I mean, listen,
you build on
I'm sitting here with like two of my great friends, and it's got nothing to do with the podcast. It really doesn't. Like, I genuinely, these people, like, I want to share them with everyone because they're fucking that amazing. Like, this guy is amazing. This guy's amazing. I want to share them with everyone. So that goes to what I'm saying. Like, this is my circle. These are my people. Doesn't matter who it really doesn't matter. Like, if I'm going to bring somebody to you, they're going to be great. It doesn't matter, like, whether they're talking about finance, whether they're talking about shooting or all the other dumb shit we've talked about. But, like, in the future, like, I strive to bring people that actually give a shit. Like, they care about people, and, like, more importantly, they want to bring value to people. That's all I'm about. Like, bring value. Like, let's talk about it intellectually, break it down. So I got two of the greatest guys that I could bring to you guys. So anyway,
and I mean,
done?
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah,
and all that transcends like partisanship and all that
transitionary
yelling something.
Sorry, I'm gonna keep doing it.
It's not partisan.
Transitory.
To go back to politics.
Transitory.
And all that stuff, like transitory. Yeah.
I'll make it.
It doesn't matter. Like you're blue or red. Like what the fuck? Like your kid has a problem and you're trying to solve the problem and you're bringing the best people.
It's transitory.
Nobody cares. Like nobody cares. And I mean,
I think
everybody makes it that an issue, but that's not the issue. The issue is care and people and intelligent conversations, like we said before.
Yeah.
So I had this like, I don't know, realization probably a year ago. So my dad's talked to me. He's like, you gotta get more involved in politics, Jimmy. You gotta get more involved in politics because it's just not my wheelhouse. I said, I hear you. But Dad, like, I got my path, man, and I love my path.
Yeah.
And he was like, well, you gotta do this, you gotta do that. And I started looking at my social media because everybody started talking about like what they were seeing on social media, what they were hearing, what they weren't seeing. And I started to realize, like, oh my gosh, like the only thing I see, which is true on my feed, the only thing I see is charitable stuff. Like I see cancer, heart, rare disease, because that's all I post about. But like how great, I watched that movie or that documentary that was talking about like how they control you, right?
Everything.
But holy shit,
scary.
But holy shit, can you switch it on them?
No.
Because you can. Because I had it the other way. Like I was looking at different things and clicking on different things.
Maybe you can't.
I don't know. Here's all I can tell you. I don't see 90% of the noise on my feed. It's not even there. Like it's not even that I ignore it. It doesn't even show up.
Yep.
So like if you just focus on what you love and what you are passionate about, that's what you're going to see. It's just to me, it's become a mirror.
Yeah. It
really has. Like it's been cool. And I don't like social media. Like I don't even post that much anymore. You know that. But but like here's what I will say. And I'll leave the intentional story here. As I evolved through these different experiences and these different traumas and these different challenges, I landed on the name Intentional, right? And the golf tournament's called Intentional and our firm's called Intentional. Awesome. And it's because you can't separate the two. Like I went so long trying to like keep charity separate from business and business separate from charity.
Same thing.
And I realized like I'm just like hiding half of me from the world if I just go in with half of it. So I love where we're at with the name. And then we came up with the different taglines and I had like marketing people talking to me. And then finally it just hit me. I'm like, I don't want a marketing person working on this. I just want to like, let me just sit in it and let me just figure out what it was. And it came to me like I lived so many years like not caring enough about like what I wanted out of life. And like being the status quo and like just being average. And I was like, man, fuck average, fuck status quo. Like, I just need to do me. And so it came to me. I was like, man, life deliberately chosen. Like, wouldn't you love to leave this life thinking that you deliberately chose the life you left?
Yeah.
Holy shit, would that be powerful? And that's all we've done with this RIA is just design it in a way that like I lived like a good, I'm 42 years old. I've lived a good like 30 years of my life with like money telling me how to be.
Yep. And
And I've lived the last 12 with me telling money how it can fit into who I am. And I always ask people, I'm like, what do you do? Like John, like I just met you for the first time. I'm like, hey John, what do you do? And you give me your answer. And then Cody, I just met you for the first time. What do you do? And everybody gives me the same. I know your answer. I know it. It's either your title or your responsibilities of your job.
Yep.
And I'm like, so then I'll ask a question. And
weak shit.
It's always crazy. I'm like,
it's weak shit.
Yeah.
Though.
But then I'll be like, all right. I'll be like, hey John, who is John? Right? Who is John? And you'd be like,
that question,
bro.
Hurts.
Like
that question.
I just met you, and that's an awkward question. Don't ask me. Like, there's a negative energy back to
question.
It.
No, that question hurts.
Because there's no can't answer. I know.
That's why you're in the negative because they can't answer.
There's no can't answer.
They don't know.
But then I'll say so if you left when you leave this world and you're eulogized, which conversation is the person eulogizing having?
Or
they never
what you are.
Man, my uncles, I've been to a lot of bad funerals, friends, and never have I heard their title. Never have I heard with the responsibilities.
Nope.
But man, have I heard the impact. Man, have I heard who they were. And I'm like, man, if we could start answering what do you do with who you are? Holy shit, would this country be on a better position?
I went to a funeral. It's a buddy of mine, good buddy of mine. And it was his father's. And it was one of those. It was a small town, and so the the whole thing it felt very different, right? It just felt different.
Yeah.
Like the man was the Santa Claus in the town. Like, just felt different. And the way they talked about him was different. And I think about it all the time. Like, man, like if I go tomorrow, what do these people say about me? Right? What do they say? What do they say about me? I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, I know what I say about you,
but that's what I'm saying. I don't know.
But yeah, I think you know.
No, man. I mean, I'm saying, look. I know that.
But if there's anybody out there that doesn't that has that answer though, like if you don't know, then you need to start getting back to making sure that everybody knows, and that's making an impact, man.
Yeah,
that's making an impact.
Readjust that center. I mean, we had that conversation. Like, he rode the bike over to the garage, and the greatest conversations I think I've ever had were in my garage. It's like just what we do.
That was a fantastic hour.
Yeah, and you know,
your neighbor had no idea what to do. He was like,
yeah. But you know, you bring it down to the core. Like, you're not in your house, you're in your garage, right? That's where you park your car, but you have honest conversations there.
Yeah.
You have honest conversations that, like, maybe someone's telling you something to, like, readjust your center. And this conversation is exactly that. It's
100%.
like, when you pass and the people who eulogize you, what are they going to say?
Yeah, man.
It's not going to be like, I'm a director of blah blah blah. And
No.
like,
nah.
I'm amazing in science.
That
whatever.
guy was my boy. He was like, if I needed him, he was there.
Yeah.
Like those are the things.
100%.
Like,
And I feel like it's a shit you overlook, that people will
nah,
your
well,
star
it's-
qualities. Like, dude, Santa
Yeah.
Claus, he's probably like, I was a cashier at.
Nah, I mean,
Kroger.
this guy was. I mean, the guy I was talking about, it was like he was a champion of the people.
Yeah.
But
Like-
everybody's a
like-
champion of their own call. I guess that's the crazy part. Like, so
What's
think
your
about
call?
think
What
about
is
think
your
about it like
cause?
this.
Yeah.
Think about it like this. Like, you spend, so if you hire a marketing company or your company is trying to teach you how to market, like they're trying to teach you how to be unique and
brand.
rare.
Yeah.
Are they not?
Your
Like,
brand.
how can you be unique? But like, if you really think about it, you're fucking unique. like people, I was told a long time ago not to tell people that I failed out of college. Do not say that, James.
Why?
Because it'd be a bad look. You're an investment manager. You can't fail out of college.
So
So
what?
the smartest guy in the room. Bro, failing out of college was the best thing that ever happened to me. I mean, I went back later, graduated from college on my own dime, on my own energy, on my own everything. Like, I wasted 3 years of my parents' money.
No.
3 years. And looked them in the eye and told them that college was too hard. No, college wasn't too hard. I didn't show up to class, bro. I went to Bentley's. I went to Santa Fe. I went to Cornerstone.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
I actually
all
met my wife at
Maryland
one of those
ones, yeah.
places. So it didn't Atlanta, Bentley, Hudson, you're lucky. But the point is, like, man, like, if you think that you can't share a part of your history, that's so wrong, because you are, every single person so unique, but we all feel like we have to hire a marketing expert to teach us how to be unique. Bro, tell your story. Sister, tell your story. Like, I tell you what, since I started telling my story and not caring what you thought,
Yep.
business has done better. Happiness has done better.
It's the foundation
Money's
of who
done
you
better.
are.
Yeah.
Like, if you're gonna not include your base in the conversation of like how the building was built,
Yeah. I mean, think about social
you
media,
can't
right?
trust anybody.
Don't be
Yeah.
the social media guy or girl that just puts the good stuff on there.
Right.
Like, I have shared probably more of my bad stuff on social media than I have my good stuff.
Makes you real. Yeah.
Like, my good stuff, I'm not over here to brag.
You're talking about.
I know.
I don't care.
No,
It is what it is.
nobody does. man.
Like me, hate me, I don't care.
Right. This is
'Cause
me.
if you like me, then we're on the same page.
Yeah.
If you don't, I don't care.
But if you don't, like, do you? I'm cool. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
not
go
everybody's
ahead.
gonna like me. You do you. I'm gonna do me, and we're good.
And we're good.
That's just some that
And we're
it's a great point. Like, people can't move past like the do you.
Yeah.
They have to just keep digging at like the things that they don't like about you.
Yeah.
But like, move on.
Yeah.
like
do you,
how,
man.
how much time
Move
does
on.
it take to to focus on something you don't like?
Yeah.
Like, Cody has a whole team of Facebook people that just watch his posts.
Oh no.
A whole team of
I
them.
know.
I said before we got started today, I was like, "There's a
Yeah.
grand rounds in the morning," and they're like, "What did Cody Kessler do
Yeah.
today?"
Okay.
I love the
They're like,
rounds.
blah, blah,
That's
blah,
so
blah,
true.
blah, blah.
There's a social media round. You're 100% right.
100%, yeah, man. It is what it is.
I can't believe what he said about.
Dear God, dear God. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that's funny, man.
Fuck them all. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you.
Mhm.
Fuck them all.
Well, this is fun, man.
So, well, with that, this was awesome.
I had a good time. I'm not sure what we share with them, but I had a good time.
I listen. I think they had a good time, and it is what it is. So, here's plug time. Talk to me about the golf tournament. Talk to me about anything you want to plug right now.
Oh man, I'll tell you what. If I can plug anything, it's gonna be Miracle of Hudson. The golf tournament's on Monday, so not a whole lot of time to plug that. If you want to force them,
Well, I mean,
with a Hall of Famer
next year.
Well, here's what we're doing, man. I have donated money to nonprofits that had great intentions. We have led nonprofits with great intentions.
That's right.
And that money has gone to it hasn't accomplished what it was intended to accomplish.
Yeah.
And I think the most exciting part for me about Miracle of Hudson is that this isn't going to research. This isn't going to 10 years down the road. This is literally going to day one.
Yeah.
This is the next rare disease baby that's born gets the gift of confidence, the gift of hope, the gift of like normalness. And not many people understand the gift of just being normal.
Yeah. So
until it's not normal. So
where can people go to find out more, learn more?
Yeah,
where can they go?
So miracleofhudson.org. Miracleofhudson.org is the website. You can go to theintentional.org if you're a golfer.
Yep.
You can go there and sign for a foursome or register or support us next year. But honestly, man, it's about impacting. And if rare disease, if you had cancer in your life, if you had heart in your life, if you had suicide in your life, whatever it is, mental health, whatever it is, man, get involved, but make an impact. Don't get involved for the goodwill.
Yep.
Get involved for the impact. And if you do that, man, like, first of all, you're going to impact that world in a great way. But second of all, you have so much more coming back your way of goodness and amazingness. And if that's rare disease, man, we need you. Like, we need you. And I'll tell you this, it's not often where you donate a check and you see somebody fall to their knees like a grown man. But like, if you donate to Miracle Hudson with $50,000, bro, I'm gonna fall on my knees and cry like a baby. Yeah. And I'm not even crying for Hudson. I'm crying for gratefulness. I'm crying for like gratitude. Like, holy shit, buddy. Like, we need so much. It's just, man, we're so underserved in our community right now.
You're just the first story.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's the most exciting part. Like, it's no longer my story.
Yeah.
It's the stories that we're going to tell.
That's
I can't wait to tell those stories.
When you said you have to change your story, but like your story is now someone else's story. Like you're just the first story in a long line of other stories, which is like
John hit the nail on that.
And the Miracle of Hudson, I tell people, they're like, oh, you named after your son. I'm like, I didn't name after my son. I named after my son because it just happened to be parallel with Miracle of the Hudson.
That's right.
I named after Susan. Like the miracle of this thing wasn't Hudson's birth or his survival. It was this amazing human being that gave me like the confidence to go back to be a financial guy.
Yeah.
And Susan French is
ultimately challenge the system, which is badass.
Yeah. Challenge the system and just advocate, man. Just impact your world.
Yeah.
Your world, not the world.
That's cool.
So that's it, man. That's all I got.
Well, all right. So you got anything to plug?
No.
Anything to talk about?
No.
All right.
Like, just traveling, like doing my thing.
Doing my thing. I do it.
I'm gonna plug titanium because I'm about to go eat that.
Yeah, well, we're gonna eat what?
Titanium.
Titanium, dude. Hey, look.
He's like, that's the plug.
Yeah, I was like, that's done. Like, that's what it is to plug.
If they're watching, we'll be there.
I'm getting free Thai food.
I'm wearing a Gringos and Mariachi's hat, man. So if you guys are in Bethesda or Park Potomac and you guys are going to Gringos, hit it up, man.
I love that spot.
Yeah, dude, it's great.
It's
stuff.
fantastic.
It's good stuff. My boy Mark, we'll leave his last name out. Anyway, my boy Mark owns this place, Gringos and Mariachis.
Love that
guys,
spot.
it's awesome.
It is awesome.
So hit it up,
Park
man.
Potomac is my new spot on Gringos.
Yeah,
I love Bethesda too.
But
I'm digging on the
Park Potomac is way better.
I'm digging
way
on that
better.
I'm digging on that one.
Anyway,
and I guess if you're ever traveling north in Frederick, hit me up. We'll go everywhere.
Yeah, done.
Harper's Ferry, we can do that. Let's go tubing.
All right,
West by God. Yeah.
My guys, my girls, everybody, thank you so much for checking this out. We appreciate it. Thank you so much. Whiskey Thoughts. Share with your friends. Check it out.
Cheers, guys.